Chapter 786. Asterisk boom asterisk in an instant, a blood-colored flame appeared and covered Lin Rei's body. The current Lin Rei was like a god of fire that had descended to the world. He was extremely sacred. Lin Rei felt the abnormality of Jianghu and the others. Immediately after, with a wave of his hand, he controlled the illusory spirit blood fire to isolate Jianghu and the others. He isolated all the perverts that were revealed by the Yin flame from the illusory spirit blood fire. With the appearance of this scene, the heat wave that Jianghu and the others couldn't endure earlier completely disappeared. Of course, Jianghu and the others knew about the illusory spirit blood fire. However, the Earth Corpse didn't know that Lin Rei actually had such a huge heavenly flame that was even stronger than the Yin flame. This is. Feeling the appearance of the illusory spirit blood fire, the Earth Corpse's face was shocked. His face was filled with disbelief. He never thought that Lin Rei would actually have such an ability. The instant the illusory spirit blood fire appeared, the Earth Corpse felt that the Yin flame had started to tremble and become extremely unstable. The Earth Corpse was shocked by this feeling. Others didn't know, but Lin Rei knew very well that this was the trembling, fear, panic and helplessness of a low-level heavenly flame when it saw a higher-level heavenly flame. Back then when Lin Rei received the illusory spirit blood fire, the little dragon had already said that the power of the illusory spirit blood fire was unparalleled. However, because Lin Rei's cultivation was low, he wasn't able to use the true danger of the illusory spirit blood fire. Although Lin Rei couldn't use the strongest power of the illusory spirit blood fire, the pressure of the illusory spirit blood fire's original realm was still present. Therefore, when these heavenly flames saw the illusory spirit blood fire, they couldn't help but want to escape out of fear. Regarding this, Lin Rei was already used to it. After all, such a scene had happened before. Lin Rei didn't have the slightest chance against the Earth Corpse's fear and disbelief. At this moment, the thing he wanted to see the most, other than the illusory spirit blood fire, there was nothing else. Asterisk Kacha. Kacha, asterisk the wall moved away bit by bit, and as the crack grew bigger and bigger, Lin Rei finally saw what was behind the wall. At this moment, behind the wall was a pitch-black cave. Inside the cave, there was nothing but an endless stream of heat waves. Lin Rei, who had been full of anticipation, saw this scene and his smiling face instantly turned gloomy. He turned his head and looked at the Earth Corpses beside him. His tone and attitude were cold. What's going on? Why is this place like this? Where's the Yin flame? Lin Rei could indeed feel the excitement and change of the illusory spirit blood fire when he felt the heat wave earlier. But now, when he opened it, there was nothing. Earth zombies. Seeing Linley's reaction, the Earth Corpse slapped his forehead and gave Linley a thumbs up with a look of admiration. TSK, I really have to hand it to you. I didn't say that this was the place to store the Yin fire. Moreover, do you think that these stones can control the Yin fire? Come to think of it, the Yin fire was the king of the Yin attribute. With such a strong stone, just one punch, no, not just one punch, but one pinky finger could crush it into pieces. Thinking of this, Lin Rei, who had been wearing a cold expression, calmed down a little. Then, he looked at the Earth Corpse, hoping that it would tell him what was going on. Looking at the Earth Corpse's gaze, the Earth Corpse sensed it and said slowly, "This is only the outermost area where the Yin fire is stored. The real place where the Yin fire is stored is at the end of the cave. The temperature there is much higher than here." Oh, I see. After hearing the Earth Corpse's explanation, Lin Rei felt a little better. His face quickly warmed up and he smiled again. The Earth Corpse was stunned and did not say anything else. As for Lin Rei's temper, the Earth Corpse had more or less understood it. Glancing at Lin Rei, it said, "Okay, let's go." Then, it took the lead and walked towards the cave. Glancing at the Earth Corpse in front of him, Linley didn't give it much thought and immediately followed. As for Jianghu and the others, Lin Rei did not let them follow. After all, they could not resist the heat of the Yin fire. When he subdued the Yin fire, he would have to worry about their comfort. To him, they would be a burden. However, Fu Lei was different. Gotcha. Gotcha. Just like that, Lin Rei walked into the cave. In the instant that Lin Li stepped into the cave, the crack in the wall once more returned to its original position. The palace regained its tranquility. Jia Yang and the others sat down in boredom. In the end, they had no choice but to enter meditation and wait for Lin Rei's return. In the cave, Lin Rei followed the earth corpse. The light became dimmer and dimmer. After walking for a while, it completely disappeared. Moreover, the temperature became hotter and hotter. But of course, to Lin Li, this temperature was nothing at all. As the earth corpse and Lin Rei went deeper, dark fire began to appear in front of Lin Rei and the earth corpse. Looking at the dark fire, Lin Rei opened his mouth. This should be the dark fire that you used before. That's right. This is the hellfire that I used. Also, I can only go up to this point, because if I go down any further, my body might not be able to take it, and in the end, collapse. What do you think? Hearing Lin Li's question, the earth corpse replied. Yes, indeed. To be able to come here is enough to prove the strength of your body. That's right. Although the temperature of the dark fire is high, it will harm your meridians to a certain extent. After saying that, Lin Rei once again looked at the earth corpse and said solemnly, So, don't take the pill that I gave you first. After I subdue the dark fire, I will help you refine a pill that can heal your meridians. It will allow you to quickly recover your damaged meridians. Then, when you take the 9 revolution mixed yuan pill, you will experience unexpected benefits. Trust me. Really? Although the earth corpse already believed Lin Rei, he still couldn't understand him. Seeing the disbelief in the earth corpse's eyes, Lin Rei helplessly shook his head. He then took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of the earth corpse. The illusory spirit blood fire instantly rushed out and wrapped around Lin Rei's sword finger. Whoosh! His speed was so fast that even the earth corpses didn't notice that Lin Li had already arrived in front of them. This action made the earth corpse even more certain that the pressure that he felt from Lin Rei was real. This Lin Rei was really stronger than him. However, the moment Lin Rei arrived in front of the earth corpse, the sword finger wrapped in the illusory spirit blood fire instantly touched one of the meridians on the earth corpse's chest. Zap! As if it had been electrocuted, the earth corpse trembled, and what followed was endless pain. This pain came from its own body, from the place where Lin Li had just touched. However, this pain wasn't caused by Lin Rei. It was because his meridians seemed to have been severely injured. At this moment, the earth corpse thought of Lin Rei's words and blamed himself. His previous actions proved that he was old. A dog biting a man who didn't know how to appreciate good intentions, and he was the dog. Clearly, the other party had good intentions, but was rejected by his vigilance and doubts. He blamed himself for the earth corpse. Looking at the earth corpse's painful expression, Lin Rei retreated back to his original position. He revealed a slight smile and said, How is it? Now, your body will listen to my previous words? Of course, if it doesn't listen, it's fine. This way, I can save time. You should know that refining pills is very tiring. I don't want to waste time and not gain anything. With that, Lin Rei didn't say anything else and walked into the depths of the cave. However, what the earth corpse didn't know was that the moment Lin Rei left, he was secretly counting in his heart. 1, 3, 4. Lin Rei was sure that if he didn't count, the earth corpse would definitely call out to him. In the blink of an eye, 6 had already passed, but the earth corpse still didn't move. Regarding this, Lin Rei was a little surprised. 7, 8. Even when he counted to 8, the earth corpse still didn't make a sound. Lin Rei was surprised, but he didn't think much about it. Since the earth corpse didn't call out to him, it meant that he didn't need it. If that was the case, then he was willing. After all, the one who benefited the most was him, and it also saved time. 9. Finally, just when Lin Rei was about to count to 10, the voice that Lin Rei was waiting for appeared. Lin Rei, I agree with your method just now. I'll wait for you to refine the pill for me. Hearing the Earth Corpse's words, Lin Rei was surprised. Then, he revealed a smile, turned around and said, "Okay, I agree to help you. However, the condition is that you have to follow me to where the Yin flame is stored. As long as you can keep up with me and withstand the endless heat waves, then I'll agree." Stunned. At this moment, the Earth Corpse was stunned. He was still a little afraid of entering the Yin flame's storage area. One must know that the perverts there were at least 100 times hotter than where they were now. If he really did follow in, then he could imagine the final result. His body would collapse and he would die. At this moment, the Earth Corpse hesitated. However, looking at the strange smile on Lin Rei's face, the Earth Corpse was full of doubts. He didn't understand why Lin Rei was doing this. He really wanted to know, but in the end, he gave up. "So, did you agree?" At this moment, Lin Li urged again. He really wanted to enter the depths of the cave as soon as possible. He really wanted to see the Yin flame. In response to Lin Rei's urging, the Earth Corpse was also very anxious. He couldn't understand Lin Rei's intention, so he was anxious. However, in the face of Lin Rei's urging, the Earth Corpse could only nod his head helplessly. However, the moment he agreed to Lin Rei's request, a voice from the depths of his heart rang out. "You're right, just like that." The Earth Corpse was speechless. However, before he could say anything, he had already agreed. "Okay." Seeing the Earth Corpse agree, Lin Rei waved his hand and said, "Come, I'll show you the power of the Yin flame. Then, you'll know whether I was lying or not." The Earth Corpse was stunned. His body involuntarily moved closer to Lin Rei. Despite the heat waves in front of him, the Earth Corpse was still stubborn. Using his strong body, he arrived in front of Lin Rei and stood still. "Very good." Lin Rei was very pleased with the Earth Corpse's behavior. Then, he waved his hand and a ball of illusory spirit blood fire appeared in an instant, rushing towards the Earth Corpse. Seeing the illusory spirit blood fire rushing towards him, the Earth Corpse's expression changed. He wanted to use his cultivation to retreat quickly. Unfortunately, when he reacted, the illusory spirit blood fire had already arrived above his head and formed a flame-like garment, wrapping the Earth Corpse in it. At this moment, the Earth Corpse who was wrapped in the illusory spirit blood fire was no longer as flustered as before. Instead, he was a little surprised. At this moment, the Earth Corpse couldn't feel the pain of being burned by the Yin flame. Instead, the heat emitted by the Yin flame was completely isolated by the illusory spirit blood fire that wrapped around him. Damn, this. Other than shock and disbelief, the Earth Corpse really didn't know how to describe his feelings at this moment. "Alright, let's go. Time waits for no man." Lin Li didn't pay much attention to the Earth Corpse's astonishment. At this moment, the Earth Corpse's question was answered. In the next moment, Lin Li released the illusory spirit blood fire to envelop himself. Then, using his cultivation base, he disappeared from the spot. "Wait. Wait for me." At this moment, seeing Lin Rei suddenly disappear, the Earth Corpse suddenly panicked. He was afraid that Lin Rei would leave and the illusory spirit blood fire around him would be extinguished. Then, he used his cultivation and chased after Lin Rei. At this moment, in the cave, only two figures could be seen. Just as they appeared, they would disappear again. This happened many times, but in the end, the two figures stopped in front of a stone door. It's here. Behind this door is where the Yin flame is." At this moment, the Earth Corpse spoke. However, he was very excited because this was the second time he came here. The first time he came here, this place wasn't as hot as this. "Okay. Got it." Looking at the excited Earth Corpse, Lin Rei nodded his head. Then, he fixed his gaze on the door in front of him. Looking at the door, it was filled with some skeletons and ghost faces, as well as some messy words that he couldn't understand. "Damn, what the hell is this?" Looking at the obstacle in front of him, Lin Rei felt a headache coming on. Boy, this door is not simple. Suddenly, just as Lin Rei was having a headache, the system's voice appeared. At this moment, Lin Rei seemed to have heard his savior. His originally worried face revealed a smile. What's going on? Hurry up and tell me. Lin Rei urged. TSK, this door should be an innate spiritual treasure. However, it's a low-grade spiritual treasure. It's not as high-grade as the string of beads in your hand, but it's still okay. Overall, it's an item born from heaven and earth. The system said, but there was a trace of regret in its voice. What? This is an innate spiritual treasure? Although the system said it casually, in front of Lin Rei, it was like an atomic bomb. It was a shocking thing. There weren't many items born from heaven and earth. Now, in one place, there were two of them. So, Lin Rei began to feel that the ancient corpse trove wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Chapter 787. Tisk, why do you care? As for Linley's inner thoughts, the system could naturally hear them if it wanted to. Therefore, the system naturally answered Linley's thoughts. Looking at the stunned Lin Rei, the system sighed softly and continued, what you should be thinking of now is to enter this place and collect the Yin flame. From there, the illusory spirit blood fire will undergo a qualitative change. Only then can your illusory spirit blood fire be upgraded to a higher level of flame. Do you want to move? Lin Rei was speechless at the system's words. He wanted to subdue the Yin flame, but Lin Rei was at his wit's end when it came to this innate spiritual treasure in front of him. If it was a divine artifact, then the system wouldn't even need to intervene. Linley himself would be able to blast it away or subdue it. But, this was a protocosmic spirit treasure, a product of nature. Linley knew that he wouldn't be able to do such a thing. This innate spiritual treasure in front of me, I can't open it. Why don't you? Lin Rei said to the system as he looked at the obstacle in front of him. Of course, because he was asking for help, it was inevitable that he would sound like he was begging for help. If you, who had been bullied by Linley in the past, were to see this side of Linley, you would probably be stupefied, and would wonder if the world had changed. Because in your memories, Linley was a devil through and through, a god of slaughter. Those who had offended him swore that they would never want to see Lin Rei again. If Lin Rei appeared again, it would be an indelible disaster. He would be their nightmare. Sigh. In front of the system, Lin Rei was like a child. Seeing Lin Rei like this, the system sighed and nodded in agreement. All right. However, when I make my move later, you must infuse your blood essence into the door and use it to control it. That way, you can enter the door and take it for your own use. That way, what do you think? Now, Linley was overjoyed. Who wouldn't want to have another protocosmic spirit treasure? Only, blood essence was a bit of a problem. If he used blood essence, his body might feel a bit unaccustomed to it. Of course, blood essence was not a problem when it came to obtaining an innate spiritual treasure. Without hesitation, Lin Rei nodded in agreement. All right, don't worry. As long as you do it, there will be blood essence anytime. After saying this, Linley did not hesitate in the slightest and directly forced out a drop of blood essence from his body. Whoosh. A dazzling light suddenly appeared above the blood essence that Linley had forced out, emitting light. After a few breaths of time, the light automatically disappeared and the original appearance of the blood essence was revealed in front of Lin Rei. At this moment, a drop of blood essence was floating in the air, as if it had a spirit by Lin Rei's side. Hiss. However, at this time, the earth corpses saw the blood floating in the air. For a moment, their eyes were startled and their faces were full of shock. This was because, at this moment, the blood floating in the air was like a ruby. It shined brightly and within this ruby, there were traces of golden threads. This scene shocked the earth corpses to the side because the blood in a person's body could not be like this. However, Linley could see it very clearly, and very clearly at that. Within the blood, there was not only red and gold, but also a hint of purple light in the depths of that drop of blood. It was just that the brightness of that drop of blood could not be ignored. Ah! Looking at this drop of blood essence, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of a smile and a trace of heartache. This was his blood essence, the foundation of Hongmeng's supreme physique. Originally, the little dragon said that it would not let him casually get hurt. TSK, but, as expected of the world's most tyrannical and strongest physique. I did not expect that just a drop of undeveloped blood would have such powerful strength. At this time, the system opened its mouth and its words were full of praise. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei's face was full of pride because the system was praising his blood. It was something that he used his strength to condense. Okay, let's hurry up and start. There is not much time left. Although Lin Rei was a bit arrogant, he still knew the severity of the situation. This was not the time to be complacent. Sigh, you brat. Seeing Lin Rei so anxious, the system sighed and then nodded. Okay, since you want to start too early, then let's start. The moment it finished speaking, a wave of energy suddenly appeared and merged into Lin Rei's body. This energy was so huge that even Lin Rei was shocked. This. You. Feeling the huge energy that suddenly appeared in his body, Lin Rei knew without thinking that other than the system, he could not think of anyone else. And the system seemed to know what Lin Rei wanted to ask. Without waiting for Lin Rei to finish speaking, it immediately explained and interrupted him. Okay, didn't you want me to do it? I am an illusory body and I can't let the corpses beside me notice anything wrong, so I can only act according to your body. Of course, if you don't want to, I can let go. However, I don't know if this door. TSK. At this moment, the system could be said to be a naked threat. You. Lin Rei did not know what to do with the system at this moment. In the past, the system was still cold, but now the system was so shameless. Of course, Lin Rei was already used to this kind of system. He did not want the system to become like it was before. Okay, stop bullshitting. Hurry up and get ready. Lin Rei warned. Then, under Lin Rei's perception, a terrifying wave of energy instantly passed through his palms and rushed towards the innate spiritual treasure in front of him. Bang! A loud sound, like that of stone and metal, was very dull. This. On the side, the corpses felt the terror of Lin Rei's palm. They were directly nailed to the ground as if they were immobilized. They stared at Lin Rei with eyes full of shock. How much power does it take to shake this door? At this moment, the corpses slowly spoke. He knew about this stone door in front of him because it was still open at that time. It was also because of that he was able to see the Yin flame in the stone door. Later on, for some unknown reason, the stone door closed. He wanted to go in but did not have the ability. Back then, in order to enter the sect, the corpses did not hesitate to ask the corpses of the sky, who was now the head of the ancient corpse trove. However, in the end, they still could not do anything. But now, with a single palm strike from Linley, the stone door began to sway. And it didn't seem to be as simple as just swaying. Ah. Break, for me. Lin Rei did not know and did not want to know about the corpse's thoughts and shock. At this moment, his only thought was to open the stone door and let the innate spiritual treasure in front of him recognize him as its master. At this moment, the system controlling Linley's body sensed the obscure aura of his master. Instantly, it frowned. Then, it relaxed and a mysterious smile appeared on the corner of its mouth. Humph, even the sages could not do anything to me. Do you think you can withstand my palm strength? At this moment, the system seemed to know something when it felt the obscure aura in the stone door. Heaven and earth change, first change, firmament palm, break for me. Suddenly, the stone door seemed to have stirred up the system's competitive spirit. Suddenly, the system gave in and finally used its battle technique. Another terrifying energy appeared, and finally, with its peak strength, it slammed into the stone door. After a loud dong sound, a kacha sound was heard. The stone door, which was originally cracked and sewn, started to crack under the force of this palm. Quick, now is the time. Inject the blood essence into the crack. If you are late, I can't do anything. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded. At this moment, the system returned Lin Rei's body to Lin Rei. Okay. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei was shocked. He was already prepared. The moment he felt the control of his body return to him, Lin Rei moved. He controlled his blood essence and aimed it at the crack on the stone door. Then, he poured his blood essence into it. Boom, whoosh, the moment the blood essence merged with the stone door, a red light rushed out and lit up the entire space. Hee hee. He laughed. In this moment, as he sensed the magnificence of that red light, Linley laughed, because in the instant that the red light had appeared, an enormous amount of information had appeared in his mind. Underworld Craftsman, the innate spiritual treasure of the prehistoric netherworld. It has the ability to suppress evil and is extremely dangerous. It is a lower-grade innate spiritual treasure. Underworld Craftsman? After roughly looking through the memories in his mind, Lin Rei was momentarily stunned. The name Underworld Craftsman made Lin Rei feel a little careless. However, looking at its abilities, Lin Rei was quite fond of it. After all, it was a lower-grade innate spiritual treasure, but it had the ability to suppress all evil and yin energy. Along with this information, there were also spells on how to put it into one's body. This made Lin Rei happy. If this was the case, then he would be able to see the yin flame soon. Thinking about this, Lin Rei became excited. He turned around and said to the earth corpse, "Be careful later. I will put away the stone door. There might be a large amount of heat rushing out, and there might even be yin flames rushing out. So, be prepared to defend yourself at any time." What? Put away the stone door? This time, the earth corpse was shocked. Ever since he had met Linley, he had always been able to bring him quite a bit of shock and awe. After so many shocks, the earth corpse had originally thought that he had become numb to it. Who would have thought that when he encountered something like this, the earth corpse would still be shocked? Alright, don't just stand there. I'm going to start. At this moment, Lin Rei spoke without waiting for the earth corpse to come back to his senses. He began to recite the spell to put away the underworld craftsman. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Suddenly, the underworld craftsman began to sway, and the cave trembled. Originally, the underworld craftsman would be put back into the body by reciting the spell, but now it only shook a few times. Lin Rei knew that this was very likely because he had just become master and servant with the underworld craftsman, but he had only just made a preliminary connection with the underworld craftsman. Knowing the reason, Lin Rei was not discouraged. As the saying goes, the first drum builds up the spirit, the second weakens the spirit, and the third exhausts the spirit. Next, Lin Rei, who had enough patience, began to recite the spell over and over again. Immediately after, the shaking became more and more intense. Following that, the underworld craftsman began to leave its original place bit by bit. It even began to shrink a little as it rushed towards Lin Rei. Just like that, time passed little by little as Lin Rei recited the spell. Whoosh. Lin Rei did not know how much time had passed, but he was sure that it was a very long time. However, in the end, it did not disappoint Lin Rei. The underworld craftsman instantly shrank and rushed into his body. Finally, it appeared in his spiritual abode and hung there. Hiss. He really put it away. At this moment, this was the only thought the earth corpse had. Rumble. Suddenly, a terrifying heat wave rushed towards Lin Rei the moment the underworld craftsman was put away. This was the first time Lin Rei had seen such an energy technique in his life. Bang! A muffled sound entered Lin Rei's ears. He turned around and saw that the earth corpse, who was originally standing there, had disappeared without a trace. Lin Rei was stunned by this scene. He looked behind him and saw that the earth corpse had been pushed back by the terrifying energy. It did not seem to have any intention of stopping and was still continuing. Sigh. I wanted you to go in and take a look, but it seems that you can't do it now. There was no other way. Lin Rei could do nothing about the earth corpse that had been pushed back by the energy. He had already helped him to this point. Lin Rei might have to go back and bring him back again. He sighed helplessly. Then, his expression became serious. He turned around and looked at the opened hole again. At this moment, a sinister, yet scorching, energy was constantly surging out of the cave. Lin Li had no choice but to be cautious. Although he felt that he was very powerful, it was inevitable that something unexpected would happen. Lin Li didn't dare to guarantee that he would be safe. Let's go in and collect your Yin fire. I believe that after coming out of here, your cultivation will undergo a qualitative change again, the system said. Heh, I hope so. Responding to the system, he did not hesitate. He made up his mind and walked into the hole. 1 step. 2 steps. 3 steps. 1 step at a time. The sound of each footstep was like the sound of Lin Li's heart, echoing within the cave. Phew. Finally, a living creature has come in again. Come, let me devour you. Come quickly. A cold and strange voice suddenly appeared. For a moment, Lin Rei, who was walking forward, stopped in his tracks. This is... Lin Rei hesitated for a moment when he heard this voice. He did not expect there to be a human voice in here. TSK, what human? It's just that the Yin fire has developed intelligence after millions of years. Also, is this very strange? The system's words were obviously the truth. It was strange because it had not seen anything. Lin Rei could only end this awkward ending for Lin Rei in a speechless manner. Chapter 788. Ignoring the system and not replying to the Yin flame, Lin Li looked ahead with a deep gaze before walking into the depths of the mountain. To him, nothing could stop his desire to break through. Only then would he be able to reach the Holy Realm faster. That way, he would be able to complete the 1,000-year mission without being punished by the system. Lin Rei was very worried about this. Although he was very familiar with the system, Lin Rei still believed that the system would punish the system. Lin Rei had never doubted this. Dong, 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 step by step, the sound of Yin Flame's footsteps entered Lin Rei's ears. It was as if his heart was beating too fast, causing the atmosphere to become even more tense. Perhaps it was because the cave was big, but Lin Rei's footsteps were very soft and soft. But in the end, they were very loud and echoed in the cave. He, human, I didn't expect you to be so bold. Looks like I'll be able to eat my fill this time. At this moment, sensing Lin Li's fearlessness, and even his killing intent, the Yin flame once again spoke out. At this moment, Lin Rei could clearly tell that the Yin flame's tone had changed. It was as if victory was in its grasp, but now it was furious. It was as if it was about to explode and devour Lin Rei. Heh. Lin Rei didn't have any impression of the Yin flame's words. At this moment, the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared in Lin Rei's hand. He didn't know the Yin flame's strength, but he didn't know if it would be a fierce battle. As for the Primal Chaos Dragon Spear, Lin Li had wanted to find someone to test it out on. Now, it was so close to him, and the Yin flames felt so good. Naturally, Lin Li was overjoyed. How do you have a natural spiritual treasure? In the depths of the cave, a huge ball of flame emitting a faint blue light floated in the air. The voice just now was emitted from this ball of flame. When Inhua sensed the long spear in Lin Li's hands, his heart suddenly clenched. A sense of foreboding filled his heart, and he knew very well that Lin Li's spear was a middle-grade protocosmic spirit treasure. Towards this, a hint of terror appeared in his heart. As the saying went, the first to show fear in a battle was destined to lose. Not bad, you have a good eye. What do you think? My Chaos Dragon Spear is not bad, right? I'll let you experience its power later. Hearing the system's words, Linley could not help but reveal a smug smile. He was very clear about the system's level. Khanate spiritual treasures were also known as sacred artifacts. Previously, he already knew that his spear had broken through to the mid-level Khanate spiritual treasure level. Flame was speechless. He didn't know what to say. He knew that the fear he felt from the Chaos Dragon Spear was something that could restrain him. Let's go play with the Flame first. Ignoring the Flame, he held the Chaos Dragon Spear tightly. With a shake of his hand, he smiled and activated his cultivation. Roar! Suddenly, dragon roars came out from the Chaos Dragon Spear. The roars were so loud that they formed sound waves. The sound waves were so powerful that even Lin Rei was shocked when he felt the power of the sound waves. This was the first time the Chaos Dragon Spear had summoned 9 Azure Dragons after its breakthrough. The previous Azure Dragons weren't as powerful. Feeling the excitement of the Azure Dragons, Lin Rei smiled. With a shake of his hand, the 9 Azure Dragons rushed out into the depths of the cave. Whoosh, whoosh whoosh, the sound of the Azure Dragons breaking through the air came from the cave. At this moment, the scene of 9 Azure Dragons moving out together was very spectacular. Phew. I really didn't expect that the Chaos Dragon Spear's breakthrough would lead to the 9 Azure Dragons' breakthrough. Their cultivation should be at the Saint Realm now, right? Lin Rei couldn't help but exclaim as he watched the Azure Dragons leave. Saint? They're not just saints. At this moment, the system heard Lin Rei's muttering and couldn't help but say, the Chaos Dragon Spear has broken through to a middle-grade innate spiritual treasure. In that case, the 9 Azure Dragons' cultivation should have reached the late-stage Dao Fruit Saint Realm. Hiss. Dao Fruit. Late-stage Dao Fruit Saint Realm? Lin Rei was shocked when he heard the system's assessment of the Azure Dragon's strength. A perfected ultimate god could break through to the Saint Realm and become a Dao Fruit Saint right after breaking through. Originally, Lin Rei thought that the Azure Dragons were at most early-stage Dao Fruit Saints. He didn't expect them to break through to the late-stage Dao Fruit Saint Realm. This shocked Lin Rei. However, along with the shock, there was also surprise, joy, happiness, and excitement. Because of the 9 late-stage Dao Fruit Saints, his strength would increase by another level. However, Lin Rei was excited and happy. Flame, on the other hand, was in trouble. After all, Flame's spiritual intelligence was only at the perfected late-stage ultimate god realm while the Azure Dragons were all at the late-stage Dao Fruit realm. The difference between the two was enormous. Not even Linley could be certain that someone at the level of Flame could laugh at late-stage Dao Fruit Saints. Bastard, deep in the cave, seeing the 9 beams of light arrive in an instant, his originally panicked heart was once again sure that Lin Rei's Chaos Dragon Spear was so powerful that even he was no match for it. Awoo. Although the 9 Azure Dragons were only left with their dragon souls, their majesty was still there. How could they not be angry when they heard a small flame that had given birth to spiritual intelligence curse? One of the Azure Dragons couldn't help but fly faster. In an instant, the strength of a saint could distort space. Therefore, the Azure Dragon's figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. When it reappeared, it was already in front of Flame. Flame didn't have time to react. At this moment, the Azure Dragon rushed in front of Flame and swung its tail like a long whip, fiercely hitting Flame. Boom, a loud sound was heard. The Flame that was hit by the Azure Dragon was directly scattered by the Azure Dragon and scattered in all directions. Bastard, die. At this moment, Flame came back to its senses and found that it had been smashed by the Azure Dragon. Immediately, a surge of anger surged in its heart. Suddenly, a huge heat wave appeared. The flame that had been smashed and scattered in all directions miraculously merged the moment the heat wave appeared and finally returned to its original body. Bastard, I am angry now. Although you are a saint, you are still just a dragon's soul in the end. I am the bane of Ean's souls, so, die. At this moment, the Ean flame was enraged. A ball of Ean flame rushed out of Ean flame's body at an extremely fast speed, almost imperceptible to the naked eye, and arrived in front of the azure dragon. Wu, looking at the Ean flame, the azure dragon's face showed a trace of disdain. It didn't care about the Ean flame at all. It didn't dodge and just let the Ean flame hit its body. What? At this moment, the Ean flame appeared on the azure dragon's body and started to burn. Ean flame smiled at this, but as the fire burned more and more fiercely, the dragon's soul didn't cry out in pain. This was completely different from what he had expected. In his expectation, as long as the azure dragon touched the Ean flame would burn its dragon's soul to ashes. But now, not only was the dragon's soul not destroyed, it was even more spirited. The Ean flame that was attached to the dragon's soul was slowly being absorbed by the dragon's soul. This scene shocked Ean flame and Lin Ray, who had already arrived. However, when he felt the azure dragon slowly becoming stronger after absorbing the Ean flame, Lin Ray was relieved. After all, his improvement was his own improvement. Looking at the azure dragon, Lin Ray said, "All right, leave this to me. You guys guard the surroundings. If the Ean flame dares to escape, kill it without mercy." Wu, at this moment, the 9 azure dragons roared at the sky in unison, as if responding to Lin Ray's words. Heh. Lin Ray smiled at the azure dragon's reaction. He then stepped forward and came under the Ean flame. Looking up at the Ean flame in the sky, Lin Ray's face showed a trace of mockery. "Ean flame, I will give you a chance. Become a part of my strength. When I reach the strongest level of Tao, I will return your freedom. At that time, you will become stronger and respected by the world. You might even become the king of fire. What do you think?" Ean flame, when Ean Hua heard the young man's words, he suddenly felt that it was funny. Since when did he need someone to persuade him? Moreover, he wanted him to become a part of the other party's strength. Wasn't this clearly asking him to wait to be devoured? As an expert born from the world, this was a great humiliation. Thus, Ean flame didn't even think about it before rejecting Lin Li's suggestion. "Humph, kid, why don't you ask around? I am one of the strongest godly flames in the world. What gives you the right to do that? You." Boom. Suddenly, without waiting for Ean flame to finish speaking, a blood-red flame appeared and covered Lin Li's entire body. Lin Ray was like a god of war, sacred and inviolable. He was like a god that made people revere him. At this moment, the appearance of the illusory spirit blood fire caused the Ean flame to retreat violently. If the chaotic dragon spear had brought him fear, then the illusory spirit blood fire had brought him the aura of death. In front of the illusory spirit blood fire, the Ean flame felt like a little doll, while the illusory spirit blood fire was like a giant pillar supporting the sky. When he looked up, he could only see its dust. Ean flame was scared. He didn't know what to do. He was surrounded by 9 azure dragons. It was impossible for him to escape. But in front of him was an emperor. At this moment, Ean Hua was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He didn't know what he should do to avoid this calamity. Humph. Seeing the Ean flame panic, Lin Li laughed coldly in his heart and muttered, "If I let you submit to me, perhaps when I become the most powerful Taoist, I could let you leave. But now, not only will I refine you, I will also use the illusory spirit blood fire to devour you. You will become a part of the illusory spirit blood fire." Thinking of this, Lin Li glanced at Ean flame. Since Ean flame had already rejected him, Lin Li naturally wouldn't ask to be abused. Of course, Lin Li knew that Ean flame wasn't in the mood for that. Devouring heaven spell, illusory spirit blood fire, devour. Lin Ray didn't waste any time. He didn't waste any more time. The devouring heaven spell and illusory spirit blood fire were activated. A vortex formed by the illusory spirit blood fire appeared. Suddenly, a terrifying suction force appeared in the vortex. The suction force was so strong that even the cave felt like it was going to collapse. No. No. Don't. Inhua could feel the strong suction force, because his body was slowly being pulled into the blood-red vortex uncontrollably. A hoarse roar came from the Yin flame's mouth as it struggled to break free. Its voice was filled with stubbornness as it wanted to resist fate. However, the level of the devouring heaven spell was too high. One could imagine how strong the suction force was. Even Lin Rei was afraid of the suction force of the devouring heaven spell. Therefore, it was even more impossible for Yin Flame to break free and escape. No. No. Young man, I promise you. I promise to become a part of your strength. I promise. I promise you. I beg. I beg you, don't. No matter how sincere Yin Flame's pleading was, it was too late. Lin Rei had already made the final decision to refine Yin Flame. Furthermore, Lin Rei was planning to refine Yin Flame anyway. Thus, Lin Li didn't pay any attention to the Yin Flame's pleading, much less listen to it. Just like that, the Yin Flame was slowly sucked into the blood-red vortex by the strong suction force, and finally disappeared without a trace. After the Yin Flame was swallowed by Lin Li, the terrifying heat in the entire cave began to disappear in an instant. Boom! However, even though he had swallowed the Yin Flame was extremely powerful. The moment it was swallowed into his body, it exploded at full speed. A terrifying surge of heat began to spread throughout Lin Li's body, burning him from the inside out. The pain was tearing him apart. Suddenly, Lin Rei's face turned pale because of the pain. He didn't care about anything else and rolled on the ground. At that moment, Lin Rei's image as a venerable realm expert and the former lord of the Xuanzong sect was thrown to the back of his mind. Ah! Lin Li let out a hoarse, pained roar. His face had turned extremely pale, causing anyone who saw it to be terrified. Sigh. Hang in there. As long as you hang in there, you will be able to break through to the middle ultimate god realm. It will be good for you. After all, you don't have much time left. At that moment, after Lin Rei fell into pain, the system sighed. If Lin Rei heard the system, he would be very confused. Because the system said that he didn't have much time left. It didn't mean that he didn't complete the task. As for what it meant, he didn't know. Sigh. After sighing, the system fell completely silent and did not speak again. Chapter 789. Time flowed by. It was like a white steed flashing past a crack. It was undetectable and untraceable. Naturally, it had been 2 years since Lin Rei entered the black hole. There was no news from him nor was there any information from him. Jiayang, Pai Xiao and the others who were quietly waiting in the Earth Corpse Palace were worried. Within the Earth Corpse Palace, the Earth Corpses, human corpses, Jiayang, Pai Xiao, Ba Bao and the jade-faced Rakshasa that Lin Li had saved earlier had been in a state of cultivation and comprehension ever since Lin Li had entered the cave. On the way, when everyone was cultivating, the Earth Corpse walked out of the cave in a sorry state. His face was filled with helplessness and depression. The clothes on his body were tattered and torn. Even the beggars on the street were a lot better than him. Everyone was curious about why the Earth Corpse had come out, but the one who was even more curious was Lin Li. Because Lin Li had gone in with him, and when they came out, only the Earth Corpse was left. Moreover, his attire was so strange. This caused everyone to be puzzled, but also filled with worry. Although Lin Rei's cultivation was incomparable to everyone, there were too many strong existences in this world. They did not dare to guarantee that Lin Rei would be safe and sound. The Earth Corpse naturally knew about everyone's suspicions. Then, without waiting for Jiayang and the others to ask, the Earth Corpse took the lead and spoke about everything that happened in the cave. He did not hide anything. He did not even hide the matter of him being blown away by the heat wave. After the Earth Corpse spoke about everything that happened in the cave, everyone became silent. After all, they did not participate in this matter. In the end, Jiayang and the others chose to remain silent. After that, everyone once again entered into their cultivation. This wait lasted for 2 years. This was something that Jiayang and the others did not expect. Sigh. In the palace, Jiayang retrieved his martial technique. His eyes moved and opened. A light instantly rushed out from his eyes. After the light passed, his expression became arrogant. Lin Rei, why haven't you come out yet? The corrosion of the heat wave has long disappeared from the cave. Why haven't you come out yet? Do you know that everyone is worried about you? Jiayang sighed. He twisted his body and looked around. When he saw that everyone was still cultivating, his heart was filled with depression. Although he hadn't been with Lin Rei for a long time, ever since he had agreed to join the Xuanzong sect, Lin Rei had unknowingly become a pillar in his heart, the backbone of his heart. And now, Lin Rei was not present. In fact, it could even be said that there was no news of him. This caused Jiayang to not worry at all. Even after Lin Rei had disappeared for a year, Jiayang wanted to enter the cave alone to investigate. However, this idea was seen through by the Pai Xiu who was at the side. In the end, the Pai Xiu opened its mouth and stopped Jiayang's idea. Before it could even be implemented, it was strangled in the cradle. However, now, after 2 years, seeing that Lin Rei still hadn't appeared, this thought once again appeared in Jiayang's heart. He looked at the pitch-black cave before him. In the past, there were still heat waves coming out from it. However, ever since it suddenly disappeared 2 years ago, there was no longer any heat. It even became like the outside world, extremely gloomy and cold. Seeing that the surrounding people were still cultivating and did not show any signs of waking up, Jiayang was unable to endure it anymore. He didn't want to continue waiting like this. He wanted to enter the cave to find Lin Rei's whereabouts. Although Jiayang was worried, when he thought of Lin Rei, the fear that originally existed in his heart was completely thrown to the back of his mind. When he thought of doing it, he immediately did it. After taking a final glance at everyone and confirming that there were no signs of them waking up, Jiayang stood up and tiptoed like a thief. He did not dare to make the slightest bit of noise. It was as if he was afraid that if he made any big movements, he would wake everyone up. When he arrived at the entrance of the cave, his heart was firm. Then, he stepped into the cave. At that moment, Jiayang was determined to find Lin Rei. He had even prepared for the worst. Even if he were to die, he would not hesitate. Just like that, Jiayang's silhouette disappeared from the mountain cave. However, what Jiayang didn't know was that the instant he stepped into the mountain cave, the Pai Xiu who was cultivating with its eyes tightly closed suddenly opened. Within its pair of blurred eyes, there was a trace of a smile. Within that smile, there was even more of admiration and admiration. Tisk, in the end, he still chose to enter. It seems that I have not misjudged him. Such a person should be very suitable to inherit my body cultivation technique. The Pisho muttered in its heart. Although it is not as exceptional as Lin Rei's body cultivation technique, it is at least one of the best in the world. Even the Azure Lotus Saint did not hesitate to use the Azure Lotus Sword Cannon to exchange with me. After saying that, the Pisho looked at the cave and lightly laughed. Then, its gaze became firm. In that case, I will wait for you to come out. I hope that you will not disappoint me. After saying that, the Pisho once again entered the cave to cultivate. However, the smile on its face did not disappear for a long time. As for Jiayang who had entered the cave, he simply did not know that unknowingly, because of a certain decision, he had obtained an opportunity that others would not be able to obtain in their lifetime. It was even because of this opportunity that he was sent to the peak of the Tao. Thump thump. Thump thump. Thump thump, in a pitch-black cave, a naked youth was sitting cross-legged on the ground without anything covering his body. Both of his hands were facing upwards. It was as if he was in a state of cultivation. On his face, sweat was unceasingly overflowing. However, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised. It was as if he had thought of something happy at that moment. Within the cave, the sound of a strong heartbeat could be heard. It was as if something was hitting the wall. The sound was so loud that it made one's hair stand up. Bang! Along with the sound of a heartbeat, a muffled sound could be heard from the youth's body. One could clearly see that when the muffled sound appeared, the youth's body instantly swelled up. It was as if he was a balloon that was filled with air. Then, it immediately deflated. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying pressure was emitted from the young man's body. The surrounding stone walls instantly exploded when the enormous pressure appeared. Huff! A long exhalation sound could be heard from the youth's mouth. His originally closed eyes squirmed at this moment and finally opened completely. Asterisk swoosh, asterisk a golden light instantly rushed out from his eyes and shot towards a dodging wall not far away. Bang! Thump! Following that, a muffled sound could be heard. The wall that was hit by the golden light had 2 fist-sized holes in an instant. The depth of the holes was terrifying. Just 2 golden lights were able to cause such a powerful bombardment. If it were to hit a person's body, wouldn't it be able to kill the person directly? I finally made a breakthrough. The golden light disappeared. His eyes were filled with joy as he said to Nan and I. Yes, you made a breakthrough. It's not bad. After devouring the Yin flame, you've made a breakthrough from the early stage hierarch realm to the mid-stage hierarch realm in 2 years. This kind of cultivation speed, I believe that in the divine realm. No, even in the holy realm, no one can be compared to you. At this moment, an electronically synthesized voice could be heard. Although the voice was a little stiff, it was filled with concern and admiration. System. At this moment, when he heard the sudden praise, his face couldn't help but blush as he muttered, "So you also know how to praise people?" I thought, what did you think? At this moment, the system spoke again. As for the young man who had spoken earlier, he was none other than Linli, who had entered the cave to search for Jianghu. You still think that I'm praising you? Suddenly, the original praise turned cold. You're not. You're not. No, of course not. Suddenly, the system's tone changed. Lin Rei was stunned and then he was stunned. He didn't understand what the system meant. He was clearly fine just now, but now he seemed to have changed into a different person. Although you've broken through to the mid-divine Lord realm in a very short period of time, you must remember that you are not qualified to be proud of yourself, nor are you qualified to enjoy the feeling of accomplishment from breaking through to the mid-divine Lord realm. At this moment, before Lin Rei could refute, the system immediately reprimanded him. You simply don't have enough time right now. Furthermore, you are not allowed to enjoy the feeling of accomplishment from being praised by others. That's because you're still not strong enough. You're still not strong enough to make others fear you, revere you, and call you a god in their hearts. There's no other reason other than the fact that you're too weak. That's why everyone looks down on you. The system stopped speaking. As for Lin Rei, who was listening to the system's reprimand, he sank into a deathly silence. He didn't shut his mouth. He didn't refute the system's reprimand. Instead, he began to ponder. The reason had nothing to do with him. Lin Rei knew that the system was right. He was still too weak. If it wasn't for the Yin flame, he would have needed 200 to 300 years to break through to the mid-divine Lord realm. An ordinary cultivator would need at least a few hundred years to break through to the ultimate divine Lord realm. For someone like Lin Rei, who had more than 20 times the energy stored in his body, it would be even more difficult for him to break through. If the system and the little dragon were to help him, the time needed to break through would have been even longer. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Rei clearly knew that he didn't have much time left. It wasn't just because of the 200-year mission, but also because of the 1,000-year mission. Now, a few hundred years had passed. If he wanted to break through to the Saint realm, it wouldn't be done overnight. The space became silent. The quiet space caused Chen Dan to enter a state of contemplation. Time passed slowly in the silent space. Lin Rei didn't know how much time had passed. The originally silent system spoke again. This time, the system didn't reprimand him. Instead, its voice was gentle and full of concern. Alright, now that you've broken through your cultivation and successfully merged with the illusory spirit blood fire, the illusory spirit blood fire has reached an unprecedented height because of the fusion of the two. Looking at Lin Rei, the system continued, now, with your combat power, I believe that a beginner saint won't be able to defeat you as long as they don't use their origin source and the power of law. A saint? Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment. Then, he sighed. Lin Rei was very eager to break through to the saint realm. After all, the 1,000-year mission was right in front of him. If he didn't break through as soon as possible, the consequences would be very serious. Lin Rei doubted that he could bear the consequences because if he didn't complete the mission, his life would come to an end a few hundred years later. This was something he didn't allow and didn't want to see. He didn't expect his life to come to an end because of this. If that was the case, Lin Li hoped that he had been killed by the enemy. At the very least, that would give him some dignity. Although you have such strength, you must remember not to be arrogant. Don't be careless because of this small breakthrough. The system reminded. I know, don't worry. Don't you know? When did I, Lin Rei, disappoint you and the little dragon because of my current strength? At this moment, Lin Rei's face showed a trace of pride. The system was speechless after hearing Lin Rei's words. It wasn't that the system didn't want to refute, but because what Lin Rei said was true. That's good. You should go out. It's been more than 2 years. I think the people outside are starting to worry about you. Moreover, you should hurry to the 3rd level of the ancient corpse trove. After all, I know. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei didn't wait for the system to finish speaking and interrupted. After all, you don't have much time now, so hurry up. I won't die from a small poison like you. System, hearing the system's speechlessness, Lin Rei smiled for a moment, as if he had won a round because of what happened just now. Let's go. He ignored the system, and the system didn't say anything. Just like that, Lin Rei tactfully operated his cultivation and instantly used the dragon-subduing steps. The 6 azure dragons that should have been there merged into one at this moment. Lin Rei was stunned, but he didn't care too much. After all, this kind of cultivation technique didn't have much use for him. It could even be said that it was useless. Whoosh! Riding the azure dragon, Lin Rei's figure disappeared from the cave in an instant and rushed towards the entrance of the cave. His speed was so fast that it made people's hair stand on end. If the earth corpse saw Lin Rei's speed, it would probably open its mouth and have a face full of shock. Because its speed compared to Lin Rei's was like one was the sky and the other was the earth. Lin Rei was the sky and the earth corpse was the earth. The two of them couldn't be compared at all. A woo! At this moment, a dragon's roar came from the azure dragon under Lin Rei's feet. Regarding this, Lin Rei, who was riding the azure dragon, was stunned because the azure dragon didn't have a sound in the past, and there was no such explanation in the cultivation technique's introduction. Regarding this, Lin Rei smiled slightly and revealed a refreshing feeling in his heart. After all, he had operated the dragon-subduing steps to the extreme, and it could even be said that he had imperceptibly improved it. On the other side of the cave, in the opposite direction of Lin Rei, a young man was carefully moving forward. As long as there was a slight movement, he would operate his cultivation to be on guard. This young man was none other than Jianghu, who entered the cave to look for Lin Rei. At this moment, Jianghu, who was moving forward, suddenly felt a powerful energy. Immediately, Jianghu stopped moving forward and operated his cultivation to be on guard. Chapter 790. Asterisk whoosh, asterisk. As he listened, an ear-piercing sound suddenly appeared. Jianghu was startled and he immediately tried to change his cultivation to resist it. Just from what he felt just now, Jianghu was able to determine that he did not have any energy to resist it. Fear, panic and fear appeared. His alertness became more and more intense. It was as if something was about to happen to him. Jianghu? Suddenly, a voice rang out. The voice was filled with surprise and astonishment. Emin? Jiayang was very familiar with the voice that suddenly appeared. Because, wasn't the voice that he was looking for Lin Rei when he entered this place? Thinking about that, a trace of excitement appeared on his face. He raised his head and looked ahead. He saw that a young man had already appeared. The scene that appeared was extremely shocking. At that moment, the young man was on top of the azure dragon's head. His body carried the domineering aura of a king. The pressure from his cultivation was so strong that Jiayang was suffocating. Looking at the young man, Jiayang smiled. Lin Rei, I finally found you. Seeing Jiayang like that, Lin Rei was startled. His gaze became perplexed. He understood what Jiayang meant. However, Jiayang's gaze at that moment was very easy to misunderstand. At that moment, Jiayang's gaze was filled with gentleness, expectation and excitement. This caused Lin Rei to feel even more relieved. Involuntarily, looking at the current Jiayang, Lin Rei's body trembled. A burst of chilliness surged into his heart. Then, he involuntarily took a step back. Jiayang was an understanding person. Seeing Lin Rei like that and the expression that Lin Rei displayed, even an idiot would understand the meaning of Lin Rei's gaze at that moment. He bitterly smiled and then explained, you don't misunderstand. No. I came here to find that after the earth corpses left, their clothes were torn. Then, 2 years later, I was afraid that something would happen to you. So, I came here to take a look, that's all. There's nothing else. After saying that, Jiayang's expression, other than concern, was completely concealed. At that moment, after hearing Jiayang's explanation, Lin Rei nodded his head in understanding. Then, he put his foot that took a step back and returned it to its original position. He felt relieved. Alas. But soon after, Lin Rei sighed. Looking at Jiayang, who was concerned about him, he felt a burst of guilt in his heart. After all, he had entered into cultivation and had no idea what was happening in the outside world. Furthermore, when he entered into seclusion, he did not explain anything to them. Alright, come on up. Whoosh! After saying that, without waiting for Jiayang's response, an enormous amount of energy suddenly appeared. In the end, it wrapped around Jiayang and placed him behind himself, allowing him to stand on the azure dragon's back. Due to Lin Rei's powerful cultivation, the azure dragon could be considered as a physical entity at this moment. Thus, there was no problem with Jiayang at all. Regarding this, he took a glance at Jiayang, then retracted his gaze and activated the dragon subduing step. In an instant, the azure dragon suddenly roared and rushed toward the cave. It was so fast that the only thing that could be seen in the cave was a flash of green light. However, no one could see what the green light was. Towards this, Jiayang, who was riding on the azure dragon, couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Even though he felt extremely happy, especially when he sensed that Lin Li's body and cultivation had increased once again in such a short period of time, this caused Jiayang to feel extremely envious. Of course, other than envy, there was nothing else. Because he knew that even if he was envious, the energy that he was envious of would not be his in the end. After half a day, Lin Rei finally rushed out of the cave while carrying Jiayang and arrived at the Earth Corpse's palace. Roar! The azure dragon roared angrily and then disappeared into the air, disappearing without a trace. As for Lin Li and Jiayang, they had already left the azure dragon and landed on the ground. At the same time, after the azure dragon roared, the Pai Xiao and the others who were originally cultivating all woke up and retreated from their cultivation. Everyone turned their head to look at the direction where the dragon roar came from. They saw Jiayang and Lin Rei looking at them with a smile on their faces. Lin Rei, you came out? At that moment, when everyone saw Lin Rei who had disappeared for 2 years reappear, they suddenly bounced up from the ground and cried out in surprise. Among them, the Earth Corpse was the most shocked. His voice was the loudest because back then, he had personally experienced the power and terror of the heat wave. And now, not only was Lin Rei not injured, his cultivation was even more exhausted. Faintly, the Earth Corpse sensed that Lin Rei's cultivation had a breakthrough. At that instant, the Earth Corpse was truly convinced by Lin Rei. He was so convinced that he prostrated himself on all fours. In his heart, he rejoiced that he chose the right path and rejoiced that his third brother was a human corpse. I knew it. Anyone in this world can die, but only you, the Scourge, can't. At that moment, an extremely discordant voice broke the scene of everyone's concern for Lin Rei. It was none other than the exotic beast, the Pai Xiu. The instant it saw Lin Rei after retreating from its cultivation, a hint of excitement appeared in its eyes. But immediately after, it concealed that excitement and concern as it spoke. Lin Rei, Jiayang, everyone looked at the Pai Xiu. They were already used to it. After all, they all knew that among the crowd, other than Xie Feng, only the Pai Xiu dared to speak to Lin Rei like that. Sigh. Lin Rei was already used to the Pai Xiu's attitude. After all, Lin Rei did not ask for much from the Pai Xiu. With a sigh, Lin Rei retracted his gaze from the Pai Xiu. At that moment, he did not have much time left. Although his cultivation had a temporary breakthrough, Lin Rei still had a long way to go before he could reach the Saint Realm. After stopping everyone for a long time, Lin Rei changed the topic and said solemnly, "All right, now that the matters here are settled, let's go to the third heaven." What? You still want to go to the third heaven? Suddenly, a surprised voice sounded. Suddenly, everyone looked over curiously. They saw that the one who spoke was none other than the Heaven Master and Earth Corpse of the second heaven. Looking at the Earth Corpse, Lin Rei nodded and said, "Of course, I have already subdued you and the human corpse. Next is naturally the Heaven Master, the owner of this ancient corpse vault. Moreover, the main reason why I entered the ancient corpse vault was to find the Heaven Master, so..." At this point, Lin Rei smiled and did not continue. This was because he believed that even if he did not say anything, they would know what he was going to say next. You came for the Corpse King elixir?" The Earth Corpse was stunned by Lin Rei's reaction and asked suspiciously. "Corpse King elixir?" At this moment, the human corpse was the same. He looked at Lin Rei with a puzzled gaze, as if he wanted to ask for an answer. Looking at their gazes, Lin Rei did not hide anything. Since they were already here, it did not matter if he told them. "That's right, the Corpse King elixir. I came for the Corpse King elixir. Otherwise, do you think I would come here?" However, to be honest, if there was no Corpse King elixir, Lin Rei might not have come here. But even if there was no Corpse King elixir, if he knew that this place could help him raise his cultivation, even if it was hell, Lin Rei would give it a try. Sigh. After receiving Lin Rei's answer, the Earth Corpse and human corpse sighed. The Earth Corpse replied, "Lin Rei, I'm afraid you came to the wrong place this time. Regarding the Corpse King elixir, it was not my big brother who spread the news. He wanted more cultivators to come here so that we can cultivate in the future, so, oh, I know. The Corpse King elixir can't raise one's cultivation." Hearing the Earth Corpse's words, Lin Rei smiled and felt very comfortable. This was because the moment the Earth Corpse revealed the use of the Corpse King elixir, Lin Rei was sure that the Earth Corpse believed him. You know? Lin Rei's answer was completely unexpected by the Earth Corpse and human corpse. This was because only the three of them knew about this. Furthermore, it was the Sky Corpse who took the initiative to tell them. But now, Lin Rei knew about it. Thinking about the Yin flame before, the Earth Corpse was even more curious about Lin Rei. He did not understand why Lin Rei knew about something that only they knew. Lin Rei naturally would not say anything about the doubts in the Earth Corpse's eyes. He would not tell them that there was an omnipotent system in his body. Therefore, even though he sensed their doubts, Lin Rei did not say anything. He only smiled and nodded. Sigh. Seeing that Lin Rei was pretending to be confused, it was obvious that he did not want them to know. The Earth Corpse and human corpse were smart people. They did not say anything and stood aside. Okay, let's go. Seeing that the earth corpse and human corpse did not say anything, Lin Ray said to the crowd. He then activated his cultivation and dragon subduing step. An azure dragon instantly appeared beneath Linley's feet. Then, it charged towards the third layer of the earth at an incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, it had already disappeared in front of everyone. Let's go. Let's go. Seeing that Lin Ray's figure disappeared in front of their eyes, the crowd did not think much about it. They activated their cultivation and rushed towards the direction that Lin Ray left. In the third heaven, on a majestic and high mountain, the lord of the third heaven, the owner of the ancient corpse trove, heavenly corpse Gu Feng, stood at the edge of the cliff. There was a trace of worry on his face and he was very upset. He did not know why, but he had a premonition that the sense of danger was getting stronger and stronger. At first, he thought that it was just a momentary feeling. But now, he knew that he was wrong because the sense of danger had made him upset. Phew. Just what is it that can make me feel this way? I'm a half-sage. Gazing into the distance, Gu Feng felt extremely annoyed by the heavy atmosphere in the air. He didn't like this feeling and was extremely annoyed. Dong, dong, dong. Suddenly, when Gu Feng was upset, a sound came out of nowhere and made him even more upset. Humph, how many times have I told you not to disturb me when I summon you? Was the lesson not enough? Gu Feng heard the sound coming closer and finally shouted at the Life Queen. Subordinate. At this moment, a middle-aged man appeared behind Gu Feng. His face was full of fear and his body was trembling because of fear. Speak. At this moment, Gu Feng's voice returned to normal. Perhaps it was because the roar from before had eased the feeling of annoyance in his heart. Hearing that his master had returned to normal, the middle-aged man was relieved. He stabilized his body and quickly said, Master Zhang, second master, third master seem to have joined a human. Boom. The moment those words entered Gu Feng's ears, Gu Feng's mind went blank. Of course, his first thought was that he did not believe it because he knew the character of his two brothers. He also knew that they had suffered inhumane torture when they were alive. And the one who tortured them was the so-called human. However, he knew that Life Queen's subordinate was not a person who would lie. It was because of this that he allowed Life Queen to follow him. Doubts and all kinds of puzzles appeared in his mind. The feeling of annoyance from before was now multiplying. Behind him, the middle-aged man was observing Gu Feng's expression. When he saw Gu Feng's expression become heavy and gloomy, the middle-aged man quickly knelt on the ground and continued, It's true. I just received a report from the first heaven and second heaven subordinates. Third master and second master seem to have followed that human and are heading this way, so, alright, that's enough. Gu Feng hastily cut him off. Without another word, he rotated his cultivation base and flew toward the second heavenly layer. While I'm away, guard this place well. Remember, without my permission, no one is allowed to enter this place. You all understand. Remember, if anyone violates this, I will make them disappear from this world, even if they no longer know the feeling of death. At that moment, when Gu Feng disappeared into the horizon, his voice once again traveled into the middle-aged man's ears and warned him repeatedly. Looking in the direction Gu Feng disappeared, the middle-aged man placed his left hand on his right chest and solemnly guaranteed, Yes, master. Don't worry, I will protect your orders to the death. Of course, Gu Feng could no longer hear his words. With Gu Feng's cultivation base, he had long since appeared 1,000 miles away. As for Lin Ray's group, they didn't know that just as they were about to leave for the third heaven, someone had already used a special method to transmit their whereabouts to the third heaven. As for Lin Ray's group, they also didn't know that the third heaven's heavenly master, who was also the ancient corpse trove's master, Gu Feng, was currently flying toward them. In Gu Feng's heart, he simply didn't believe that his brother would follow a human and listen to his orders. At this moment, Lin Ray's heart was filled with delight. That was because soon he would be able to obtain the Corpse King pill. Then he would be able to study the formations here. Perhaps he might even be able to break through to the Saint tier. Of course, Lin Rei's most important matter right now was to obtain the Corpse King pill. Then everything would be fine. Chapter 791. The group continued flying as they did not want to know that Gu Feng was getting closer to them. The Earth Corpse following behind Linley had a troubled expression on its face. At this moment, the Earth Corpse's appearance was just like the human corpse from before. Its eyes were filled with conflict and difficulty. He did not know how to explain to his elder brother that he had promised to look after his third brother's human corpse. But now he was walking on the path of a human corpse. The Earth Corpse felt guilty when he thought of meeting his elder brother. If it was not for the Sky Corpse who saved him, he would have perished and ceased to exist. Beside him, Human Corpse, who was following beside Earth Corpse, sensed the conflicted emotions in Second Brother's heart and immediately transmitted a message to him. Second Brother, I know what you're thinking, but you have to know that we've been here for too long. Although we're from the Corpse clan, but we also need sunlight. Although you haven't said anything for so many years, I really hope to leave this place and step into the divine realm to experience the feeling of light. Sigh. The Earth Corpse turned to look at the human corpse beside him and sighed after hearing his third brother's voice in his mind. He felt the same way. They could not break out of this damned seal. If they could, they would have left long ago instead of waiting until now and having to follow a human. He did not speak. He knew that as long as he spoke, the human corpse would be more interested in the outside world. At this moment, it was still unknown whether Lin Rei could bring them out. The Earth Corpse did not put all his hopes on Lin Rei. The human corpse looked at his second brother's silence and continued, moreover, our cultivation here can only reach the great perfection ultimate God or the half-saint realm. We can't break through to the saint realm. What? What did you say? How do you know? On the side, the Earth Corpse was no longer calm because even he did not know about this matter. Perhaps the Heavenly Corpse knew, but he never mentioned it. Because of the seal, cultivators above the saint realm can't enter at all. This proves that it's wishful thinking for the Corpse clan to break through to the saint realm here. Of course, there's another way. WH. What method? The Earth Corpse asked doubtfully. Looking at the Earth Corpse, the human corpse said, break the seal and break free from the seal's control. That way, you can break through to the saint realm, or even better. There is no other way. Earth Zombie. Speechless, the Earth Corpses were speechless. Not for anything else, but because the human corpse's words were a bit superfluous. If they could break through the seal's shackles, then why would they bother to bring them here? If they were able to break through the seal, perhaps they would have already left this place and entered the beautiful and gentle God realm. At the side, the human corpse seemed to have realized that his words were a little unnecessary, so he didn't say anything else and shut his mouth. Looking at the human corpse beside him, the Earth Corpse squeezed out a smile with difficulty. He didn't say anything else and focused on flying. As for the conversation between the human corpse and the Earth Corpse, Lin Rei didn't know. But if he knew, he might have patted his chest and said, I can get you out of here. Of course, there was also a result, and that was, he didn't do anything. His eyes were filled with speechlessness because he didn't want to repeat what he said before because it was too troublesome. Everyone was silent throughout the journey. However, there was one person whose gaze was especially strange. He kept staring at another person, and his eyes were filled with expectation and expectation. TSK, the more I look at him, the more he seems to be my successor. At this moment, the person who spoke was none other than the Pai Xiao who already had this thought. The person who was being stared at the entire journey was naturally Jiayang. When Jiayang entered the cave by himself, the Pai Xiao was certain that this person must become his successor. Of course, Jiayang didn't know what the Pai Xiao was thinking. He also didn't want to be fancied by an expert from the desolate era. At this moment, Jiayang who was flying felt that someone was spying on him. He immediately turned his head to look. He saw the Pai Xiao looking at him with its small eyes, and its eyes were filled with concern and expectation. Suddenly, Jianghu was stunned. He thought of some bad things and immediately increased his flying speed, trying his best to increase the distance between him and the Pai Xiu. Regarding this, the Pai Xiu felt very helpless. After all, what it thought was slightly different from what Jianghu thought. Time quietly passed by as Lin Rei and the others flew. Originally, the journey to the third heaven would take more than 10 days. However, suddenly, a trace of an interesting smile appeared on Lin Rei's face as he stopped. At this moment, everyone saw that Lin Rei had stopped moving forward. Immediately, they all stopped as well. However, Jianghu and the Pai Xiu were somewhat puzzled. They immediately went up and asked, "What's wrong, Lin Rei? Why did you stop? Shouldn't we have yet to reach the third heaven?" Hearing the Pai Xiu's words, Jianghu nodded in agreement and said, "That's right. Why did we stop here?" Regarding this, the two of them were puzzled. At the same time, it was also the question that everyone wanted to ask. At this moment, everyone's gaze fell on Lin Rei. They wanted to see what he was going to do. Seeing everyone's puzzled gaze, Lin Rei smiled and said, "We don't need to go anymore. If my guess is correct, the third heaven's heaven lord, the ancient corpse trove's master, the heavenly corpse, will return soon." What? When the earth corpses and human corpses heard this, they were greatly shocked. Then, their gazes fell on their surroundings and began to scan their surroundings. Not only the earth corpses and human corpses, even the Pai Xiu, Biyao, jade-faced Rakshasa, Jianghu, and the others were similarly stunned. They never thought that the heaven lord that they wanted to find would actually deliver himself to their doorstep. Seeing everyone's surprised gaze and attitude, Lin Rei faintly smiled. It turned out that before, Lin Rei had released his divine sense the entire time in order to prevent any unexpected situations. But who knew that before he could do anything else, just a moment ago, a silhouette instantly streaked across the sky tens of thousands of miles away. That person's direction was exactly where they were now. In his divine sense, Lin Rei clearly sensed that the silhouette's cultivation was at least in the late hierarch realm. However, it did not include whether it was in the half-step saint realm or not. Because in the ancient corpse trove, other than the saint realm, anyone below the saint realm could break through. Looking at the silhouette, Lin Rei had a guess in his heart. After all, in the ancient corpse trove, other than the ancient corpse trove's master, Lin Rei could not think of anyone else who could have such a cultivation. Sure enough, not long after Lin Rei became silent, a silhouette rapidly streaked across the sky and rushed towards Lin Rei and the others. Its speed was so fast that it made people speechless. Damn, this person's cultivation, this speed. At this moment, Jianghu, who was beside Lin Rei, sensed a silhouette rapidly rushing towards them from the horizon. He was stunned for a moment because he felt that the cultivation of the silhouette was very powerful. At the very least, the current him was still not a match for it. At this moment, Jianghu was stunned. Because ever since he came to the divine world, he had already received a huge blow. Forget about Lin Rei, there was no need to talk about him. But now, there was another human corpse and earth corpse. How could he not be nervous? How could he not put in more effort? Lin Rei did not pay attention to Jianghu's words. He turned around and faced the incoming silhouette and said to himself, "Oh, he's here. And he's here." In the end, he still came. But I didn't expect him to come so quickly. At this moment, the earth corpse, who had just been reborn, saw the silhouette flying towards them from the horizon. His heart trembled and his body couldn't help but tremble. Guilt surged into his heart. At the same time, the human corpse at the side also saw the silhouette in the horizon. The two of them were very familiar with that silhouette because that silhouette was none other than the one that Lin Rei had mentioned. The master of the ancient corpse trove, the master of the third heaven, the sky corpse. Looking at their own brother, the two of them couldn't help but lower their heads. Their faces were filled with guilt. They didn't know what to say. He didn't want to ruin the relationship between the three of them because of his own choice. That wasn't what they wanted to see, and it wasn't what they were looking forward to. At the same time, the sky corpse that was rushing over from the horizon also saw the earth corpse and human corpse that were following beside Lin Rei. At this moment, he couldn't help but recall the contents of the report that he had heard earlier. His mind went blank and his heart felt uncomfortable. It wasn't hatred. Because this feeling was as if someone had stolen something from him. It made him feel uncomfortable. At the same time, he felt uncomfortable because he didn't understand why his two younger brothers would choose a human. Without thinking too much, the sky corpse suddenly accelerated while looking at Lin Rei and the others. In the blink of an eye, the sky corpse's silhouette became faster and faster. Moreover, in the eyes of Lin Rei and the others, it became bigger and bigger. Not long after, the sky corpse finally appeared in front of Lin Rei. He stopped and looked at Lin Rei with a trace of curiosity in his eyes. He then said, "What's wrong? You're not even going to say hello after seeing your big brother?" Whoosh! Hearing this, the earth corpse and human corpse's bodies trembled violently. Then, they quickly said, Big brother." Yes. Looking at them, the sky corpse's face revealed a trace of a smile. Then, he looked at Lin Rei with intense curiosity. He was very puzzled. How could the person in front of him convince his two younger brothers who hated humans? This sovereign is Lin Rei. You're the master of this ancient corpse trove, the sky corpse. At this moment, without waiting for the sky corpse to speak, Lin Rei asked. That's right. The sky corpse didn't hide anything from Lin Rei. He said with a smile, I'm the sky corpse, the earth corpse and human corpse's big brother, Gu Feng. After introducing himself, Gu Feng didn't stop and continued, Tisk, I'm very curious. What conditions did you use to convince my two younger brothers? I understand very well, especially my third brother. He hates humans very much. I don't understand why he would listen to you. If it was in the past, you probably wouldn't even have to say anything and would have already died in my third brother's hands. Human corpse, at this moment, human corpse was speechless. He didn't expect his big brother to be so straightforward. Moreover, he even revealed his past. However, Lin Rei didn't care about Gu Feng's words. He didn't care about what human corpse did in the past. He only cared about how human corpse would become better after following him. Of course, at the very least, Lin Rei wouldn't let human corpse go on a killing spree after entering the divine world. At the very least, human corpse wouldn't kill anyone who shouldn't be killed. However, Lin Rei wouldn't care about those who should be killed. In fact, he would even let human corpse kill as much as he wanted to. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't care about what Sky Corpse said at all. Looking at him, Lin Rei said with a smile, actually, the reason why I took them in was because of the special characteristics of their bodies and the ability of your corpse race. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken you in with the price of letting you leave this place. What? You can let us leave this place? Shock. It was exactly the same as the Earth Corpse and Human Corpse's expression when they first heard the news. At the same time, there was a look of disbelief in the depth of their eyes. He didn't believe that this young man who was only a middle-stage ultimate god could let them leave this dark and desolate place. Even a half-saint expert like him wouldn't dare to say that he could leave this place. He didn't believe it. He didn't dare to believe it. Lin Rei sighed as he observed the changes in Sky Corpse's expression. He explained, I know you don't believe it, but this is the truth. Before I came in, I was only a late-stage god emperor cultivator. Now that I've been here for less than 15 years, I've already broken through to such a realm. Moreover, I don't think it's difficult to bring you out. After saying that, Lin Rei waved his hand without waiting for Sky Corpse's response. A supreme-grade venerable array instantly appeared under Sky Corpse's feet. Suddenly, a supreme-grade venerable array appeared. Lin Rei believed that even a saint would need to spend some effort to get out of this place. Moreover, Sky Corpse wasn't even a saint yet. He was at most a quasi-saint. Sky Corpse was startled when he felt the sudden appearance of the array around him. He immediately wanted to break the array, but the moment he made his move, the power that he originally released was miraculously reflected back. At this moment, Gu Feng was startled. It was his first time seeing such an array. No, rather than saying it was his first time seeing it, it was better to say that there weren't many people who knew how to set up arrays in this ancient corpse vault. But the person in front of him had such a high attainment in arrays that it was rare. He had never seen such an array before. How is it? Is my supreme grade venerable array okay? At this moment, Lin Rei spoke. His tone revealed a trace of disdain. It wasn't that Lin Li was arrogant, but he really didn't believe that Gu Feng would be able to escape from this place. Unless Gu Feng was a formation master like him, or at a higher level than him, reaching the saint level, it would be a fool's dream to think that he could break through. At this moment, Gu Feng was speechless. It wasn't because of other reasons. It was because Lin Rei was right. Gu Feng knew that he couldn't break this array. Chapter 792. Heh. Lin Rei sneered. Looking at the distressed sky corpse, Lin Rei waved his hand and instantly removed the formation that trapped Gu Feng. Sigh. Feeling that his body had returned to normal and that there were no other shackles around him, Gu Feng felt a lot more at ease. Just like before, Gu Feng believed that if Lin Rei suddenly made things difficult for him at that time, he would definitely be the one to suffer. However, what Gu Feng didn't know was that if Lin Rei used the upgraded illusory spirit blood fire while he was still trapped, then, the consequences would be far beyond Gu Feng's imagination. That was because the illusory spirit blood fire was much more powerful than before after being strengthened by the Yin flame. As long as Gu Feng dared to touch the illusory spirit blood fire, then unless Lin Rei personally took it back, Gu Feng would only end up with his corpse destroyed. Looking at Gu Feng, Lin Rei's expression was calm. There was no joy, anger, or sorrow on his face. How about now? Will you follow me? Or think carefully. Promise me that I will bring you out. Both the people and the town will agree. If you don't, then I won't lose anything. However, when the time comes, you will be the one to suffer. After all, your two brothers will be leaving with me. At that time, breaking through to the Saint realm shouldn't be a problem. At this moment, although Lin Rei was giving Gu Feng a choice, it was better to say that Lin Rei was tempting him with benefits. Hearing Lin Rei's request, Gu Feng choked on the words that he wanted to say. He wanted to speak, but it was as if a hand was choking his neck, making him unable to open his mouth. Looking at the Earth Corpse and Earth Corpse, seeing that these two brothers who had accompanied him for millions of years were about to leave him, Gu Feng's heart revealed a strong feeling of reluctance. To be honest, Gu Feng was tempted by Lin Rei's request. However, he was still hesitating. He was hesitating whether this person before him could bring him out. If he couldn't, then, at this time, the Earth Corpse standing behind Lin Rei saw the hesitation on Gu Feng's face and became anxious. There was such a good opportunity in front of him. If he missed it, then they would have to part ways. He didn't want to be separated. For a million years, the three of them had never been separated. If they were separated because of this, it would be difficult to see each other again. With that thought in mind, the Earth Corpse took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of Gu Feng. He tried to persuade him, "Big brother, this is a good thing. Why don't you agree? Third brother and I have already agreed. We don't have to think about being separated from you. If you agree, then we can be together again. Could it be that you don't want to go out?" "That's right, big brother." At this moment, Human Corpse, who was still standing on the spot, revealed an anxious expression when he heard Earth Corpse's words. He hurriedly said, "Big brother, second brother is right. This is a very good opportunity. Moreover, you felt it just now. Lin Li's formation is so powerful. Perhaps we can leave with his help. Moreover, Lin Rei promised that as long as we follow him and become a disciple of his sect, We will have endless resources and conditions that can help us become saints. So, why don't you agree? At this moment, Lin Ray didn't expect the human corpse and earth corpse to be like this. He didn't think that these two brothers would be so supportive. However, this was also good. With their help, he believed that Gu Feng would quickly be on his side. He might even agree to give him the Corpse King pill. As he thought of this, a hint of a smile appeared on Linley's face. In fact, Linley could already imagine the scene of the poison in his body being cured. On the side, Gu Feng looked at his two younger brothers earnestly persuading him, especially after hearing that they didn't want to be separated from him. In an instant, Gu Feng's last line of defense was completely broken. At this moment, Gu Feng couldn't help but think back to 1,000,000 years ago when he was still a human. His younger brothers and sisters also said this to him. It was a pity that he lost the opportunity to be together with them because he was looking for elixirs. Now, looking at his two younger brothers saying this to him, Gu Feng's heart was filled with warmth. Looking at them, Gu Feng's eyes instantly turned red. It could be seen that he was using a lot of effort to control his tears and not let them fall. Finally, Gu Feng nodded. Sigh. I really can't do anything about it. If I don't go with you, who knows what kind of outrageous things you'll do. Big brother, you agree? Hearing this, the earth corpse was surprised and asked in surprise. Nonsense, of course Big Brother agreed. Second brother, look at you. Since Big Brother said so, it means that he agreed to go with us. On the side, the human corpse rebuked the earth corpse with disdain. For a moment, looking at the proud human corpse, the earth corpse was stunned and immediately shut his mouth. Off to the side, seeing his two little brothers act like this, Gu Feng chuckled, then turned his gaze to Linley. I agree, but you have to promise to take us out with you. And you can't miss out on a single one of the conditions you agreed to before. No, seeing that Gu Feng had finally agreed, Linley let out a sigh of relief in his heart. Just as he was about to nod and agree, Gu Feng spoke out, stopping him from saying anything. If you can't bring the three of us out of here, then I'm sorry. We won't agree to your previous conditions. You have to understand this. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't say anything and just stared at Gu Feng. Why are you looking at me? At this moment, feeling Lin Ray's puzzled gaze, Gu Feng said. Looking at Gu Feng, Lin Ray smiled and said, Nothing, I just want to ask if you have anything else to say. If you do, then say it all in one go. If not, then I'll say it. Gu Feng was speechless. Looking at Lin Ray, Gu Feng shook his head helplessly. No, you say it. Okay, that's good. Nodding his head, Linley didn't waste any more words. He immediately said, What you said earlier, I completely agree with you. But you need to know that I, Linley, will definitely accomplish what I want to do. Don't worry. I have 100% confidence that I will be able to bring you out of this cage. After saying that, Lin Ray's eyes revealed a hint of hesitation and he paused. He was afraid that Gu Feng would have a strong reaction if he continued. At this moment, Gu Feng saw Lin Ray's hesitation and noticed the hint of hesitation in Lin Ray's eyes. He said, Just say what you have to say. Okay. Looking at Gu Feng, Lin Ray didn't hesitate and said the purpose of his visit. I want to ask you for a Corpse King pill. Of course, I can use something of the same value to exchange for it. As long as you give it to me. This is very important to me. I wonder if you, Tisk, Corpse King pill. At this moment, Gu Feng was silent. He frowned and his face revealed a difficult expression. What's wrong? If it's difficult, you don't have to use it. If it's difficult, then it's best. Looking at Gu Feng's difficult expression, Lin Ray's heart tightened and he suddenly became nervous. Silence. At this moment, the scene suddenly became silent. No one said anything and Gu Feng fell into silence and thought. As for the earth corpses and human corpses, they were even more so. As for Jiayang and the others, when they saw this scene, they naturally tactfully kept silent and didn't say anything. The scene became oppressive. Regarding this, Lin Rei's heart trembled and a trace of undetectable disappointment appeared in his heart. Sigh. However, just when Lin Rei felt that this matter might be over, the system sighed and its voice was filled with helplessness. What's wrong? Towards the system's sudden sigh, Lin Rei didn't understand and asked. Are you an idiot? What? Being suddenly scolded by the system, Lin Rei was stunned. Originally, this place wasn't very pleasant. Now that the system said this, Lin Rei became even more depressed. Inside the system, looking at Lin Rei's depressed appearance, the system sighed and said, "The Corpse King pill is condensed by the Corpse King's life. You make it sound so simple. Just give it to me. If that's the case, I'm afraid that in this world, only you can do such a thing." Speechless, towards the system's words, Lin Rei didn't refute. After all, this sentence was very reasonable. Then tell me, what should I do, that thing? Looking at the sky, Lin Rei asked shamelessly. Congealed pearl, the Corpse King pill is condensed by the Corpse King's life. If you want to exchange it with the Corpse King, you can only use the congealed pearl. Only the congealed pearl can make up for the Corpse King's loss. Moreover, the congealed pearl can help the Corpse King to break through to the Saint Realm, and, saying this, the system took a deep breath and then continued, moreover, as long as you refine the congealed pearl, even if you break through to the Saint Realm, the lightning tribulation won't descend. Therefore, I believe that the Corpse King will exchange it with you. Lin Rei was silent. If what the system said was true, then it wouldn't be long before he found the congealed pearl. But, what exactly was the congealed pearl? He had never seen it before, how would he know where it was located? Thinking about this, Lin Rei revealed a pleading look. Looking at the sky, he said in a weak tone, "Good system, good master, you see, since you can tell me about the congealed pearl, then you must know where it is located," and even, saying this, Lin Rei's eyes lit up and said in surprise, "You have the congealed pearl, right?" "Ha ha ha," a mechanical voice laughed, and the voice was filled with joy. "You're not stupid." Saying this, the system continued, "That's right, I do have the congealed pearl, and more than one." But, Lin Rei, damn, at this moment, Lin Li already knew what the system was going to say even before it finished speaking. Looking at the pitch-black sky in the system, Lin Rei smiled bitterly and said, "Deduct as many exchange points as you want." "Good, I've been waiting for you to say this." As soon as Lin Rei finished speaking, the system immediately said, full of happiness. Hearing the system say this, Lin Rei didn't say anything. At this moment, he didn't know what to say. Ding dong, purchase of the congealed pearl, 3 million exchange points deducted. Please come again. Pfft. Lin Rei spat out a mouthful of old blood. His heart shook, and at this moment, the corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. 3 million ah. This wasn't 3,000 or 30,000, but 300,000. This was 3 million, how long would it take to earn it back? A feeling called heart-wrenching pain was completely reflected in Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Lin Rei was feeling this way. 3 million, if he knew this would happen, he would have killed more corpses to earn more exchange points. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret now. After the exchange points were deducted, a transparent pearl appeared in Lin Rei's hand. Sigh. Sighing, he raised his hand and looked at the transparent pearl in his hand. His face showed a trace of helplessness. But thinking that he was about to get the Corpse King pill, the two complemented each other, and in the end, the heartache lessened by a lot. "Okay, hurry up and get out." At this time, the system's voice sounded again. At this time, without waiting for Lin Rei to speak, Lin Rei felt that he had been forcefully removed by the system. Returning to his body, Lin Rei opened his eyes and looked at the silent Gufeng. He opened his mouth and said, "I will use the congealed pearl to exchange with you." The congealed pearl can replace the Corpse King pill, and more importantly, it can allow you to reach the Sage Realm faster. More importantly, with it, you don't need to go through the lightning tribulation to break through to the sage realm. What? Are you serious? Upon hearing Linley's words, Gu Feng, who had been silent for a while, hurriedly asked. That's right. Lin Ray didn't bluff. This thing does have such an effect. Now, it depends on whether you are willing to exchange with me or not. It is more useful than your Corpse King pill. Moreover, you can still condense Corpse King pills. Why wouldn't you accept such a deal? This. Indeed, he was moved by the congealed pearl. Not only him, even the earth corpses and human corpses were the same. This thing was like another life for them. How about it? Do you want to exchange? Lin Ray urged again. He was determined to get the Corpse King pill. For example, the congealed pearl was like another life for the corpse race, and the Corpse King pill was also like another life for Lin Ray. Time passed by slowly. After Gu Feng pondered for a while, he finally made up his mind and said, "Okay, I agree. Let's do it according to what you said." Boom! The moment Gu Feng finished speaking, a terrifying energy rushed out of his body. A purple pearl the size of an eye appeared in the air. This is the Corpse King pill? Looking at the purple pearl floating in front of him, Lin Ray was stunned. He could feel the energy coming from the Corpse King pill. Although it wasn't strong, it was at least at the level of a venerable realm treasure. This is the Corpse King pill you want. At this time, Gu Feng opened his mouth. However, unlike before, Gu Feng's voice was very weak, and his face was very pale. Looking at the weak Gu Feng, Lin Ray quickly stepped forward and supported him. He asked with concern, Are you okay? I'm just a little weak. Chapter 793. All right. Since Gu Feng said so, Lin Ray didn't say anything else. He raised his hand and handed the congealed pearl to Gu Feng and said, "This congealed pearl is yours. Eat it now and refine it when you have time." All right. Thank you. Looking at the condensed pearl in front of him, Gu Feng didn't hesitate at all. After all, this was something he deserved. But in the end, Gu Feng still said thank you to Linley. After all, in the end, he was the one who had profited. It's nothing. Hurry up and refine it. I'll protect you. He smiled and nodded. Then, he went to the side and sat cross-legged in the air. He instantly released his divine sense and took in everything within a 10,000 li radius. Within a 10,000 li radius, any movement, snake, insect, rat, or ant, as long as it was within 10,000 li radius, it couldn't escape Lin Ray's divine sense. Seeing Lin Ray like this, Gu Feng felt grateful. He then looked at the earth corpse and human corpse. Without saying anything, he closed his eyes and stuffed the congealed pearl in his hand into his mouth. He sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. Although Lin Ray said not to refine it, at the very least, there must be a connection between the two. Only then could he use it as he wished. Seeing the sky corpse enter cultivation, everyone did the same as Lin Ray and sat around the sky corpse. At this moment, everyone's face was serious. They were afraid that they would accidentally disturb the sky corpse. The scene gradually quieted down. Lin Ray and the others all entered cultivation. However, there was one person who didn't. Instead, he slowly walked to Jia Yang's side in the air. At this moment, Jia Yang, who had entered cultivation, felt someone approaching him. He stopped cultivating and opened his eyes. What entered his eyes was a Pai Shou. It was the desolate beast that had been paying attention to him. Looking at the Pai Shou, Jia Yang frowned. His face was filled with confusion. He didn't understand why the Pai Shou had been paying attention to him after he came out of the cave. Jia Yang was very sure that the Pai Shou had started to pay attention to him when he came out of the cave. Looking at him, Jia Yang asked with confusion, "Say, Senior, I wonder if I have offended you?" What? At this time, Pai Xiu, who was looking at Jia Yang with a gentle smile, froze in place when he heard Jia Yang's words. His face was full of shock. He didn't understand why Jia Yang would ask such a question. I don't think so. Why do you ask? Pai Xiu asked. No. Hearing those words, Jia Yang's tensed heart relaxed. Then, he quickly said, since you don't have any, I wonder if you have any instructions for me, senior? If you do, please tell me. If you keep looking at me like this, after saying that, Jia Yang shrugged with a troubled expression. He had an expression that said, look at me, I'll be scared. Jia Yang already knew about the identity of the Pai Xiu. For a vicious beast that had survived since the Great Desolation era, as the current Jia Yang, he naturally had to address it as a senior. Seeing that Jia Yang was in such a difficult situation, she seemed to have thought of something. Then, she joked, TSK, that's enough. Why did you think I looked for you? Jia Yang wanted to open his mouth to reply, but the instant Jia Yang opened his mouth to say the word the Pai Xiu did not give him the chance to speak. That's enough. Don't say, I actually didn't look for you for anything else. Looking at Jia Yang, the Pai Xiu revealed a strange smile. However, this strange smile was not discovered by Jia Yang. If he had discovered it, there wouldn't have been such a situation. That's right. Previously, you seem to have heard Lin Rei say that there was a problem with your body cultivation, right? At this time, Jia Yang asked. In fact, he already knew about this matter. Moreover, he had specifically asked Linli about the problem with Jia Yang's body. At that time, Linli had clearly told him that the reason Jia Yang was unable to make a breakthrough in his body transformation cultivation was because of a problem with his body transformation cultivation method. If he had changed his cultivation method, then perhaps it would have been better. Of course, if he were to switch to a different type of body transformation cultivation method, he would have to start from the beginning. If he were to do so, he would need to spend a lot of time. But at the same time, the benefits he would obtain would not be small. This sentence was remembered by the Pai Xiu in his heart. It was also at that time that the Pai Xiu had the idea of accepting Jia Yang as his disciple. After all, he had been locked up in Planet Aqua Blue for such a long time. His former family, friends and disciples had probably died long ago. Regarding this, the Pai Xiu did not want to be alone. Although he had Lin Rei to accompany him, he still felt that something was missing. When he saw Jia Yang, the Pai Xiu finally knew that what he lacked was a disciple. At this time, hearing the Pai Xiu's words, Jia Yang's face was filled with disappointment and loneliness. He felt very helpless about this matter. That's right. My realm has stopped at the early stage of the God realm. I have been unable to advance. I don't know why. I can also help you break through your realm. Are you willing? The sudden words stunned Jia Yang. However, within the shock, there was also excitement. Because this matter had always been an obstacle in his heart. Really? Looking at the Pai Xiu, Jia Yang lied with suspicion. It wasn't that he didn't believe it, but Lin Rei had said that he wanted to see his cultivation method. So. Hearing this, the Pai Xiu rolled his eyes. With an unwilling expression, he said, nonsense. At least I asked Lin Rei. He said that there was a problem with your cultivation method. Therefore, there was no way for you to break through your realm. I won't look at your cultivation method. On the contrary, I will impart a new cultivation method to you. This cultivation method must be of the high grade of the sage realm. I can impart it to you if you want. Yi Shiwen smiled. After saying that, the Pai Xiu paused for a moment and then continued, of course, there is one thing you must know. After practicing my body transformation technique, you cannot practice other body transformation techniques. Because of this, it will lead to a battle between the two types of body transformation techniques. In the end, the only one who will be harmed is yourself. This. Jia Yang hesitated. Regarding such a good thing, Jia Yang hesitated. As the saying goes, one who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. Jiayang did not believe that a pie would fall from the sky. Because of this, he would be crushed to death. Jiayang was very cautious about this. The Pai Xiu, who was always paying attention to Jiayang's facial expression, frowned when he saw him hesitating. Dissatisfaction appeared on his face and he said in a deep voice, "You are not willing?" No. No. Feeling the temperature around him becoming ice cold, Jiayang quickly regained his senses and quickly opened his mouth to explain. Unfortunately, before Jiayang could finish his words, the Pai Xiu said, "Boy, you must remember. Even the Green Lotus Sword deity valued my cultivation method very much. He did not hesitate to use his life sword scripture, the Green Lotus art, to exchange it with me. Why are you hesitating?" At this moment, the Pai Xiu was really dissatisfied. He really could not understand why Jiayang was hesitating about such a good thing. He wanted to say something, but just as he opened his mouth, his throat seemed to be choked by a hand and he was unable to speak. Agree with him. However, just as the Pai Xiu was dissatisfied that Jiayang was making things difficult for him, Lin Rei, who was originally cultivating, spoke. "Jiayang, although I do not know why you are hesitating, believe in the Pai Xiu. His cultivation method is extremely powerful. Especially that Green Lotus Sword scripture. Even I would covet that thing very much." Furthermore, the Pai Xiu was born with great insight in body cultivation. I believe that his cultivation method will definitely be able to completely shatter the barrier to your realm that you will not be able to break through after you reach the divine level. Hearing those words, the Pai Xiu smiled. Gratitude that had never appeared in his eyes before appeared. Facing that, Lin Rei revealed a trace of a smile as he looked at the Pai Xiu. Next to him, Jiayang was even more stunned. He did not expect Lin Rei to speak at this moment. Originally, Jiayang had thought that Lin Rei had entered cultivation. However, at this moment, Jiayang had considered Lin Rei's suggestion. Moreover, his heart started to become restless. To be honest, anyone would be moved by Guan Pai Xiu's words. Jiayang was no exception. However, he was unable to figure out whether or not there was some sort of conspiracy behind it. How about it? Do you agree or not? There is not much time left. I will not waste time here with you. My time is very precious. Next to him, the Pai Xiu urged. Seeing the Pai Xiu and Lin Rei's current gaze, Jiayang immediately thought of his cultivation that had yet to break through. In the next instant, a voice that came from the depths of his heart rang out. That voice told him that he must agree. This opportunity cannot be missed. If he misses it, it will not come again. If he misses this opportunity, there will not be another opportunity like this. At this instant, Jiayang, who originally had a gaze of hesitation and doubt, had a firm expression. He raised his head and looked at the Pai Xiu. His gaze was firm and his tone was sonorous and powerful as he said, "I agree. I will cultivate your cultivation method." Good. Hearing Jiayang's words, the Pai Xiu, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately cheered loudly. Perhaps because its voice was too loud, it caused everyone aside from the heavenly corpse Gu Feng to wake up. Everyone looked at the Pai Xiu with doubtful gazes. They did not understand what had happened. However, Lin Rei knew. Seeing Jiayang agree to the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei was extremely happy in his heart. Brat, this is what you get for not agreeing to me earlier. How could the Pai Xiu's things be so easy to take? This old brat definitely did not hold back anything good. Just watch. At this moment, it was not surprising that Lin Rei was rejoicing in Jiayang's misfortune. All right. Since you have agreed, then go to the side with the Pai Xiu. Let him pass on the cultivation method to you. In the future, it will be up to you. At this moment, seeing how restless the Pai Xiu was, Lin Rei was afraid that they would wake up Gu Feng. Immediately, he ordered. Speechless. The Pai Xiu was speechless. However, it still followed Lin Rei's request and brought Jiayang to the side to pass on the cultivation method. At this moment, the happiest person was none other than the Pai Shou. Such a good seedling in front of him was about to become his disciple. How could he not be happy? Of course, although it was not on the surface, the Pai Shou was not the kind of person who would give up so easily. Since he had given his most precious thing to Jiayang, if he did not pay a price, would it be possible? Just like what Jiayang thought before, there was no free lunch in this world. Moreover, it was such an expensive meal. Looking at the two people who left, Lin Rei revealed a smile. Immediately after, his gaze fell on Gu Feng. The previous episode had already passed. The scene once again became quiet. Everyone went back to cultivate. However, only Lin Rei himself was worried about Gu Feng. He still felt that something was wrong. However, he did not know what was wrong. His troubled mood made Lin Rei restless at this moment. Boy, later on, use your cultivation method to help Gu Feng transfer some of your spirit energy. Otherwise, Gu Feng will be in danger. Suddenly, just as Lin Rei was feeling restless, the system spoke. Thump. Sure enough, after hearing the system's words, Lin Rei knew that he might have done something wrong. Why? Lin Rei asked the system. Regarding Gu Feng, Lin Rei was different. What did he have to do? TSK. Actually, at least I didn't finish what you said. There are steps to replace. First, you need to let Gu Feng swallow the congealed pearl to replace the congealed pearl. However, he took out his corpse King Dan first. Now that his cultivation is unstable and his aura is weak, how can he withstand the impact of the congealed pearl? You. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei did not know what to say for a moment. Originally, everything could have ended perfectly, but now, because he said something wrong, it led to this situation. Alright, hurry up. I can't guarantee that if you're any slower, he won't be in trouble. The system urged. Regarding this, the system admitted that it was wrong. It had just thought of this matter. Sigh. Lin Rei sighed and looked at Gu Feng. For a moment, he could not help but feel sympathy for him. In the end, all of this was caused by the system. In the end, the system belonged to him. Moreover, it was him who wanted the corpse King Dan, so, without hesitation, Lin Rei watched as Gu Feng's aura became weaker and weaker. Gu Feng's face also became pale. Seeing this, Lin Rei moved. His body flashed and appeared behind Gu Feng. In an instant, he used the primal chaos heavenly scripture and transferred the spirit energy in his body to his palm. Then, he reached out and placed his palm on Gu Feng's forehead. Phew, a stream of pure primal chaos energy entered Gu Feng's body. Gu Feng, who had been on the verge of death, seemed to be pulled by someone at this moment and desperately ran toward the side of life. With Lin Rei's sudden intervention, Gu Feng, who was originally pale, finally regained some color on his face. Regarding this, Lin Rei breathed a sigh of relief. The guilt in his heart finally lessened a little. You should be fine now. Looking at Gu Feng, Lin Rei did not say anything else and increased the energy transfer. At this moment, when he felt a huge amount of energy entering his body, he was stunned. Then, he immediately thought of whose masterpiece it was. Because the only one present who had this kind of power was Lin Rei. He was very clear about the power of the earth corpses and human corpses. Looking at Jiayang and the others, although their cultivation was higher, Lin Rei was the only one who had this kind of power. At this moment, Gu Feng's heart was filled with gratitude toward Lin Rei. He knew what happened just now. If it wasn't for the sudden addition of that energy, he would have died by now. However, Gu Feng did not know that all of this was because of a mistake made by the system. In the end, it was Lin Rei's fault. In this regard, Lin Rei was just making up for his previous mistake. Chapter 794. Time slowly flowed on, and in the blink of an eye, Gustav's injuries were being healed by Linley's constant supply of primordial chaos energy. Not only that, Gustav could vaguely sense that the barriers to the next level of insight which he had not sensed for so long had suddenly appeared. Feeling that firm and unbreakable barrier, he knew that he would not be able to break through here. It was not the information that Lin Ray gave him. Instead, the moment the barrier appeared, a shackle appeared and tightly surrounded the barrier. Gu Feng believed that he would not be able to break through the shackle of that invisible energy because that energy was too powerful. It was so powerful that it made him tremble. Putting aside the problem of the barrier, he looked at the injuries caused by the loss of the corpse King Dan. Now that they had been healed, he felt an indescribable comfort in his heart. Especially when he thought of the benefits that the congealed pearl brought him, he could not help but want to rush out of the ancient corpse trove and break through to the saint realm that he had always dreamed of. Phew. He exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and withdrew his cultivation. His face revealed a trace of his appearance. His tightly closed eyes opened at this moment. A bright light flashed through his eyes. His pupils were filled with a brightness that had never been seen before. How is it? Are your injuries healed? At this time, Lin Ray's voice entered Gu Feng's ears. Suddenly, Gu Feng quickly got up and turned to look at Lin Ray. His eyes were filled with gratitude. Plop. Suddenly, under everyone's gaze, the arrogant Gu Feng directly stood in front of Lin Ray and swore, "Gu Feng, from today onwards, will recognize Lin Ray as my master. I will cast away all thoughts of rebellion. I will use the 9 heavens divine thunder and netherworld divine fire to refine my body. I will fall into the endless underworld." Linley was stunned. Looking at this sudden scene, Linley was stunned. He hadn't expected this to happen. He thought that as long as he could get the Corpse King pill, it wouldn't matter whether he took the ancient wind or not. But now, this scene had happened. At that moment, Lin Ray was not the only one who was like that. Even the earth corpses, human corpses, Ba Bao Bao, Jia Yang Pai Xiao and the others who had already finished teaching the martial technique were all stunned when they saw this scene. Among them, especially the earth corpses and the human corpses, they knew their big brother very well. But now, seeing their big brother swearing to recognize Lin Ray as his master, they felt that it was somewhat unreal. Where was their arrogant big brother? Where was their arrogant and unruly elder brother? Where did their elder brother, who hated the world, go? At this moment, Gu Feng, who was kneeling on the ground, felt the strange gazes from all around him, including his own brothers, and a helpless expression appeared on his face. Alas! Sighing, Gu Feng looked at the earth corpse and human corpse and said, "You too, why aren't you coming over? Do you want me to invite you over?" Gu Feng's action made everyone's jaws drop. They believed that as long as one was a normal person, they would be able to understand what he meant. He wanted to drag his brother down with him. No, he wanted his brother to recognize him as his master. Looking at Gu Feng's action, Lin Ray was secretly delighted. He muttered to himself, "This is what true brothers are like. Sharing blessings and suffering together. Indeed. Not bad, damn, can you be a little more shameless? You even have the nerve to say such words. Damn, after you leave, don't tell others that I was the one who brought you out, okay?" At this moment, the system's voice suddenly appeared. However, the system's words made Lin Ray have the urge to rush in and beat it up. However, he knew that it was impossible. Moreover, with the system's strength, Lin Ray did not dare to be presumptuous. He also did not dare to let the system know that he wanted to beat it up. In the blink of an eye, he hid everything in his mind. Then, looking at the ancient corpse, Lin Ray opened his mouth. "Alright, Gu Feng, let's leave this matter at that. I said before that I only need you to join my Xuanzong sect. As for this, I think it's better to forget about it." As he spoke, Lin Ray stepped in front of Gu Feng and extended his hand to help him up. However, it seemed that things were already out of his control. "Pa!" Gu Feng slapped Lin Ray's hand away. He looked at Lin Rei with an incomparably serious expression. No, I, Gu Feng, am a man of my words. Not only can you help us three brothers escape from this prison, you can also help us reach the saint stage that we have always dreamed of. Therefore, you deserve this bow. Of course, more importantly, if you hadn't saved us just now, I'm afraid that I wouldn't have the chance to talk to you here right now. I wouldn't have the chance to continue taking care of these two brothers of mine, so. As he spoke, Gu Feng turned his head and looked at the earth corpse and human corpse with a smile on his face. He said, so, they must be like me. Speechless, helpless, and stunned, Lin Rei really did not know what to say at this moment. As long as one was human, they would not be willing to become someone's subordinate, let alone swear to recognize someone as their master. Because once they swore, they would be recognized by the Tendo. If they went against it, the consequences would be devastating. Of course, others might be afraid of the Tendo, but Lin Rei was not. His cultivation was completely out of the control of the Tendo. Therefore, even if he swore, he would not be punished by the Tendo. Yes. Big brother. He originally thought that the earth corpse and human corpse would not agree, but who knew that when they said that? Lin Rei stared blankly and was very excited. One must know that these three were in the hierarch realm, and one of them was almost about to break through the barrier of the saint realm. If such a huge group joined the Xuanzong sect, then the strength of the Xuanzong sect would increase again. In addition to the generals he summoned, the three ghost kings he subdued from the netherworld, and the three corpse kings, it would not be surprising if the Xuanzong sect's strength could sweep through the entire god realm. Plop. Plop. After speaking, the earth corpse brought the human corpse to Lin Rei and knelt on the ground like Gu Feng, and swore, I, the earth corpse, and human corpse, from now on. If I go against it, I'm willing to be burned to death by the ninth heaven's divine thunder and netherworld's divine fire. Rumble. Suddenly, the moment the three of them finished speaking, a muffled thunder sounded in the sky. It was as if the earth corpse was telling Gu Feng and the other two that if they went against the oath, then what they said would befall them. Sigh. Looking at the three of them, Lin Rei was secretly happy and excited, but he put on a troubled expression. Alright, since that's the case, then this sovereign will accept it. After saying that, he stepped forward and helped the three of them up. Since that's the case, from now on, you are the disciples of the Xuanzong sect. When there's no one around, you can call me young master. When there's someone around, you can call me sect master. Yes, we understand. The three of them nodded and went to Lin Rei's side. They stood respectfully behind him and did not say a word. This scene made the surrounding people sigh. Just like that, he took in three supremes of the god realm. Feeling the surrounding people's gazes, Lin Rei did not feel anything strange. Looking at them, Lin Rei opened his mouth and told them his next plan. The matters here have been settled. The only thing we can do now is to wait for the seal to open in 10 years, and then we will leave this place. Yes. With regards to Lin Rei's words, no one disagreed. After all, they came with him. So, at this moment, they all nodded in agreement with Lin Rei's suggestion. Alright, follow me for this period of time. There are still many things in the ancient corpse vault. Basically, they are all supreme-grade heavenly treasures. At this moment, looking at everyone, Eighth Bao said with a happy smile on his face. Eighth Bao's cultivation was very simple. Other than relying on normal spiritual medicine, he also relied on the heavenly treasure's aura. Rumble, rumble, kacha, kacha. With regards to Eighth Bao's words, Lin Rei nodded in agreement. After coming to the ancient corpse vault, Lin Rei had almost used up all the healing pills. Now that Eighth Bao said so, Lin Rei naturally agreed. However, just as Eighth Bao agreed, all of a sudden, the sky darkened and the ground trembled. Accompanying the trembling was the sound of the ground cracking open. This sound caused Lin Rei's heart to tremble. Immediately after, he lowered his head and looked at the ground below. He saw a shocking chasm appear. The chasm was so deep that he couldn't see the bottom. A chilly wind rushed out from the chasm and blew towards the sky. This scene was witnessed by everyone. Looking at this scene, everyone was shocked and puzzled. This matter happened too suddenly and none of them were mentally prepared. However, while everyone was shocked, Gu Feng and the other two were not shocked at all. Instead, their eyes were filled with fanaticism. It was as if this matter was very important to them. At this moment, Lin Rei saw the expressions of Gu Feng and the other two. Looking at them, Lin Rei knew that Gu Feng and the other two must have known about what happened just now. As for 8th Bao, when he saw the shocking chasm below, he was stunned and felt sullen. Originally, he wanted to take advantage of this period of time to cultivate. Perhaps, he could even break through to the next realm. But now, the shocking chasm had completely disrupted 8th Bao's treasure hunting plan. Young master, at this moment, when Lin Rei was thinking about something, Gu Feng's voice rang in his ears and pulled Lin Rei back to reality. His gaze fell on Gu Feng and looked at him with doubt, waiting for his response. Young master, have you heard of the Middle Realm? At this moment, Gu Feng spoke. The Middle Realm? Looking at Gu Feng, Lin Rei muttered to himself. Regarding the Middle Realm, if Lin Rei didn't misunderstand, it meant that within a secret realm, there was another secret realm hidden. And this secret realm was the true existence of the original secret realm. It was also the most important existence. But now, this middle realm came from Gu Feng's mouth. Thinking about the scene just now, Lin Rei couldn't help but be shocked. Could it be, looking at Lin Rei's reaction, Gu Feng smiled. Yes, young master, you're right. Everything that's happening now is because the middle realm is about to appear, so. Gu Feng shrugged and revealed a helpless expression. Hiss. A cold breath came out of Linli's mouth. Linli was extremely shocked by Gu Feng's words. This was because it was extremely difficult to set up a stage within 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 a stage was extremely difficult. TSK, not bad. At this moment, the system heard what the system was thinking and said. I didn't expect you to know about this. It seems that you've really grown up. TSK, of course. Don't you know who I am? Lin Rei. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of a smile. Looking at the narcissistic smile on Lin Rei's face, the system was very helpless. Sigh. You're still panting when I say you're fat. The system suddenly said this. Lin Rei knew that he might have said something wrong, or perhaps, he didn't say it fully. Sure enough, just as Lin Rei thought of this, the system opened its mouth and said, what you said before was not wrong. However, other than being set up by the strong, there is another way to form a middle realm. What? Shocked, Lin Rei was shocked by the system's words. According to him, other than being set up by the strong, there was no other way to form a middle realm. However, regarding the system's profound knowledge, Lin Rei couldn't refute it. Regarding this, Lin Rei pricked up his ears and closed his mouth to listen carefully. Ha! Looking at Lin Rei's attitude, the system laughed and then explained to Lin Rei, just like what you said before, the middle realm is set up by the strong, and this strong person's cultivation must be above the sage realm. He can't do it at the early and middle stages. After saying this, the system paused for a moment and looked at Lin Rei's face that was full of thirst for knowledge. Then, it continued, however, there is another way to form a middle realm. When Hongmeng came out, after the strong died, their bodies wouldn't perish. Because they were strong when they were alive, they would form a kind of enchantment seal when they were alive. This seal is usually to protect their bodies. And for some extremely powerful existences, after they die, not only will they form an extremely powerful seal, they will also add an additional layer of seal on top of the original seal. This is for the sake of protecting their bodies. These are the involuntary consciousnesses of the experts who died. Looking at Lin Rei, the system stopped explaining. Do you understand now? Uh-huh. For a moment, Lin Ray, who had received such a huge amount of information, couldn't react. Sigh. Seeing Lin Ray so confused, the system sighed and didn't say anything else. At this moment, Lin Ray also realized what the system had just said. Suddenly, his eyes widened and he looked shocked. Could it be that this place, at this moment, Lin Ray thought of a possibility based on what the system had just said. However, to put it bluntly, the system had already told him the answer to this place. At least you're not completely confused. Seeing Lin Ray's reaction, the system smiled and said, Really? The system's reply meant that it had confirmed that his thoughts were correct. Then, if that was the case, could there really be a corpse here that had survived from Hongmeng? As soon as this thought appeared, Lin Ray moved. After all, the value of a corpse that had survived from Hongmeng was incomparable to any treasure. Chapter 795. It's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. However, let me tell you this. Although it sounds very tempting, you should know the difficulties involved. The corpse of a mighty being from the Hongmeng era is not something a mere mid-stage ultimate god cultivator like you can touch. At this moment, the system mocked Lin Ray without any hesitation. The system's mockery had almost become a habit. He rolled his eyes and ignored the system. At this moment, he only knew that he would be rich if he could get his hands on that corpse. Let's not talk about whether he could get his hands on it. If he could get his hands on it, would he be able to improve his cultivation base and understand the laws of heaven and earth? Moreover, he did not have much time left. If he did not find another way, it would be a fool's dream to break through the ultimate god realm and enter the saint realm in a few hundred years. Anyway, Lin Ray knew that he could not do it. Therefore, he was determined to get his hands on the corpse of the realm within the realm. More importantly, if he could get his hands on the corpse of the realm within the realm, it might be of great help to the little dragon. Thinking of the little dragon, Lin Ray felt ashamed. Every time the little dragon went into hibernation, if it was not to help him overcome difficulties, it was to protect him. It was like this every time. Therefore, no matter what the reason was, Lin Ray was determined to go. Sigh. At this moment, the system observed Lin Ray's thoughts. The system sighed and then said helplessly, I knew you were not an honest person. Lin Ray was not surprised by the system's words. Ever since he got the system, he always needed the system or the little dragon to clean up his mess. Otherwise, there would not be the current Lin Ray, the Nine Heavens Xuanzong Sect, and such a large group of Xuanzong Sect disciples. If it was not for the system and the little dragon, he would probably still be a mediocre person who went to school every day. Then, he would be an ordinary person who went to school to work. Since you've decided, don't blame me for not telling you in advance. If you want to enter the realm within the realm, you must have a strong will, because if you choose to enter the realm within the realm, you must accept the baptism of the laws of the heavens and earth. Therefore, I know. Don't worry. As long as you can enter the realm within the realm, I can persevere no matter how difficult it is. Even if it's not for me, for the little dragon, I have to persevere, right? Lin Ray's words left the system speechless. The system could understand Lin Ray's persistence. Alright, since you've made up your mind, we'll do as you say. However, once you're in the middle realm, you must listen to me. I don't wish for you to die in a trashy place like this. Do you understand? At this moment, the system's words were extremely serious, and there wasn't the slightest hint of it joking. Yes, I understand. I understand very well. I completely understand. Don't worry. With regards to the addition of the system, how could Lin Ray be too excited? Just based on the cultivation and powerful strength that he revealed before, Lin Ray wouldn't let go of this opportunity. Yes. Subsequently, the system responded and fell into complete silence. Regarding this, Lin Ray didn't continue to speak. Since the system had promised him, then it definitely wouldn't go back on its word. Exiting the system world and returning to his body, he opened his eyes and looked towards the direction of the third layer of heaven. Young master, you, at the side, the Sky Corpse felt Lin Rei's battle intent and the anticipation in his eyes. The Sky Corpse was stunned, as if it knew the decision that Lin Rei had made in his heart. I want to enter the realm within the realm. I want to see what mysteries there are in the realm within the realm. I want to see what kind of place this ancient corpse depository is, Lin Rei said. With regards to the origin of the realm within the realm and the corpses in the realm within the realm, Lin Rei didn't mention a single word. Even when he entered the system, he had to personally command it. If the Sky Corpse moved people to enter, then wouldn't the situation be even worse? At that time, should Lin Rei protect the Sky Corpse and the others, or should he search for the thing that he wanted to find? Damn, you can't be serious, brat. Just now when the Earth Dragon flipped over, there was a huge power in that place. You want to go and check it out now? You're crazy. Don't tell me that you didn't feel the power of that power. At that moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, the Pai Xiu couldn't remain calm. The scene just now even made him, a fierce beast that survived from the Desolation era, feel the trembling in his soul. But since Lin Rei wanted to check it out, how could he not stop him? That's right. Although that feeling was only for an instant, it is indeed eternal in my heart. That energy came very quickly and disappeared very quickly as well. However, I was able to clearly sense how powerful it was. I definitely think that we should. Jianghu, who was at the side, also agreed. Yes, that's right. You. Seeing that they were so against him going, a trace of anger instantly appeared on Lin Rei's face. He didn't expect that when he only said that to sense them, they would actually act like that. Lin Rei, really, I can promise you anything else, even if. Saying that, the Pai Xiu seemed to have made an important decision. A trace of heartache and hesitation flashed through his eyes. Even if you want my blood essence, I can give it to you. But we really cannot go to that place. Realm within a realm. Could it be that you don't know how terrifying a realm within a realm is? Regarding the realm within a realm, as a product of the Desolation era, how could the Pai Xiu not know about it? And the reason why the Pai Xiu wanted to use his greatest effort to stop Lin Rei. He didn't want Lin Rei to lose his life for nothing. You. Looking at the Pai Xiu, his eyes were filled with disbelief. For the usually stingy Pai Xiu, in order to prevent him from going, he was willing to pay such a huge price. However, it was a pity that the Pai Xiu's blood essence was worthless in front of the corpse of the Hongmeng Almighty. Just like what you said before, as long as you follow his instructions, you will be able to get what you want. As for the system, Lin Rei had 100% trust in it because he knew that the system would not harm him. He also believed that the system had the strength to do so. Sorry. Looking at the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei said, I can't agree to your request because there is a reason I must go there, so, after that, Lin Rei shrugged his shoulders and looked embarrassed as he handed it over to the Pai Xiu. Sigh. Looking at Lin Rei's determined appearance, the Pai Xiu knew that it was impossible to persuade him. He knew Lin Rei's temper. As long as Lin Rei decided on something, even if there were saints blocking the way, they wouldn't be able to stop Lin Rei from moving forward. If the saints dared to stop him, then Lin Rei would eliminate them at all costs and then travel together. Looking at Lin Rei, the Pai Xiu was startled and then said, You can go, but you must take me with you. This is not a request, but a notice. At this moment, the Pai Xiu was like a child throwing a tantrum. Looking at the Pai Xiu at this moment, Lin Rei felt very helpless. He really couldn't imagine that the Pai Xiu had this side. Of course, he knew why the Pai Xiu was like this. He was afraid that he would be hurt, so he wanted to go and protect him. With regards to the Pai Xiu's actions, Lin Rei felt warm. Along the way, if he didn't have these brothers who cared about him and accompanied him through life and death, he probably wouldn't have been able to persist until now, let alone achieve what he had today. I really can't take you with me. Really, you know how dangerous it is inside. I can still protect myself if I go alone, but When I'm inside, I don't have the heart to protect you. Do you understand? Lin Rei said. In order to not let the Pai Xiu think too much, he then glanced at the crowd and finally locked his eyes on the Pai Xiu. Lin Rei knew that if he didn't say it out loud, the Pai Xiu would definitely go and resist even more and would have to go. Since that was the case, Lin Rei didn't hide it anymore and simply said it out loud so that the Pai Xiu could rest assured. Pai Xiu, I really can't take you with me this time. You're right. This is indeed a realm within a realm. But what you don't know is that this place is not man-made. It's self-grown. What? How is this possible? Shocked, hearing the information that suddenly came to his mind, the Pai Xiu was shocked and dumbfounded. He didn't understand about the self-grown realm. The realm within a realm that he had heard or seen was generally created by man, but now he heard from Lin Rei's mouth that this realm within a realm could even grow on its own. Lin Rei didn't expect such a big reaction from the Pai Xiu. He thought that as long as he said so, the Pai Xiu would know. Oh, it's just a little beast. What do you think it is? At this time, the silent system spoke again. However, the words were full of disdain and sarcasm for the Pai Xiu. The Pai Xiu is a remnant from the desolate era. Why doesn't he know another way to form the realm within a realm? The system asked the system. At this moment, in the outside world, the Pai Xiu didn't notice Lin Rei at all. At this moment, he didn't have the mood. For what Lin Rei said just now, he still hadn't recovered. How should I put it? Hearing Lin Rei's question, the system patiently explained to him, just like what you said just now, he's just a little beast that survived from the desolate era. And the self-grown realm within a realm can only be formed by the mighty people of Hongmeng. It's very rare. You're lucky to be able to see it now. You have to know that in today's world, there are not many realms within a realm. So, cherish what you have now, child. After that, the system disappeared again. At this moment, listening to the system's explanation, Lin Rei understood what was going on. Coming back to his senses, looking at the Pai Xiu, Lin Rei said, "Do you know Hongmeng?" He went straight to the point without the slightest hesitation. For Lin Rei, time was life. He didn't want to waste any time. Hongmeng? The sudden question made the Pai Xiu stunned, and then quickly said, "Of course, Hongmeng is the state before the desolate era." What's wrong? Oh. Looking at the Pai Xiu's blank face, but with a very eager look, Lin Rei was secretly happy. He didn't understand before, but now it was the other way around. The Hongmeng you know is not the same as the Hongmeng I know. At this time, Lin Rei said. Oh. Hearing this, the Pai Xiu didn't speak again, but his eyes were full of confusion. Yes. Nodding, Lin Rei continued, the Hongmeng you know was opened by Pangu, but what I know is that before the desolate era, there was a cultivation civilization, and that's impossible. The Pai Xiu suddenly interrupted, it's impossible for there to be a cultivation civilization before the desolate era. If that's the case, then what are Hongjun and Pangu? Why did Pangu want to open the sky? At this moment, the Pai Xiu was agitated, as if poking a point in his heart. The Pai Xiu was so agitated that Lin Rei was stunned, and then said, "Don't be so agitated. You don't know, but it doesn't mean that there isn't." Seeing that the Pai Xiu didn't answer, Lin Rei smiled, the Hongmeng era, No, that's not right. The current Hongmeng era has been frozen, and in the Hongmeng era, any powerful person could easily crush the entire desolate era. I think you know about the Hongmeng Qi. What the Hongmeng powerful people need to cultivate is the Hongmeng Qi that you all fight to get your hands on. Their cultivation was different from ours at that time. Lin Rei didn't continue, because he didn't know what to say next. Looking at the confused Pai Xiu, Lin Rei quickly pulled the topic back on track. As for the realm within the realm, it is the mechanism that the powerful people of Hongmeng use to protect their bodies. That is the realm within the realm today. In the realm within the realm, there is the body of the powerful people of Hongmeng, and it is filled with the laws of heaven and earth. You. What's wrong with you? Pai Xiu looked at Lin Rei with doubt and mystery. Although he didn't know whether what Lin Rei said was true or false, under the influence of the Pai Xiu's heart, there was a trace of trust. Knowing what the Pai Xiu asked, Lin Rei didn't answer directly. Now, the realm within the realm has opened, and it is time to enter to find the body of the powerful people of Hongmeng. If you follow me, I am afraid that I won't have time to take care of you. If it is me, I may be able to come out safely, so, at this point, Lin Rei didn't continue. He believed that if he said it so bluntly, the Pai Xiu should understand. Looking at Lin Rei in a daze, the Pai Xiu's heart was in a mess. He wanted to explain and follow Lin Rei, but Lin Rei rejected him so much that the Pai Xiu hesitated. Rumble, suddenly, a loud sound was heard again, and at this moment, the energy that made everyone tremble appeared again. This time, the energy seemed to be magnified countless times, making everyone unable to continue flying in the air. Whoosh! In the sudden appearance of the mysterious energy, the spiritual energy in everyone's body suddenly lost contact with their bodies, and then fell down. Pung! 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 A series of muffled sounds could be heard as Linley landed safely on the ground. However, 100-meter deep crater had appeared around them. One didn't need to look at it to know that this was caused by the impact of their fall. This energy. At this moment, beside Lin Rei, the Pai Xiu once again felt the horror of this energy. For a moment, the Pai Xiu was stunned. This energy was very strange to him, but it was also very familiar. He could feel the strength of this energy, and it had exceeded its peak before it was suppressed. Chapter 796. Alright, kid. Don't waste time with Pai Xiu. I feel that the realm within the realm is about to open. If you don't go now, it will be too late. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded, urging him. Lin Rei was stunned. Then, he became anxious. He turned around and said to Pai Xiu, stay here and watch them. Don't let them get hurt. I'll go there myself. No one is allowed to follow me. Then, he turned around and said to Gu Feng and the other two, and you guys, stay here too. As for the realm within the realm, I'll go and check it myself. Whoosh! Lin Rei's words were too sudden. Before anyone could react, Lin Rei leaped into the sky and rushed toward the place where the energy appeared. His speed was so fast that everyone was speechless. They looked at the place where Lin Rei disappeared. Everyone wanted to chase after him, but they realized that they didn't have the strength and speed. Even Pai Xiu, who was a peak ultimate god, didn't have the strength. He knew very well that he didn't have the strength. Sigh. Only after Linley had completely disappeared into the horizon did everyone slowly come back to their senses. Regarding Linley's words just now, the Pai Xiu still sighed slightly and didn't say anything else. He knew that the realm within the realm was very dangerous. Although he didn't believe what Lin Rei said, there was no other way. It was obvious that Lin Rei didn't want anyone to follow him. Gu Feng, who was also stunned, had a calm expression after he came back to his senses. Alright, let's wait here. Young master told us to wait here, Gu Feng said to his second brother and third brother. Yes, understood. The two nodded at Gu Feng's order. Then, they found a place that wasn't damaged and sat down. When everyone saw Gu Feng and the other two, they didn't continue to stand. Although Lin Rei was worried, they knew their own strength. In the end, everyone obeyed Lin Rei's orders, and began to recuperate. Some even began to cultivate. Only Gu Feng and the other two remained. Their eyes were wide as they occasionally glanced around. They were like three gatekeepers, protecting everyone's safety and keeping everything calm. Third layer of heaven. Lin Rei, who had left Jiayang and the others, quickly arrived here with the help of the system. Hiss! Lin Rei sucked in a breath of cold air. His face was filled with shock, and his eyes widened in disbelief. He stared straight ahead, as if there was something that shocked him. At this moment, not far from Lin Rei, the ground was littered with corpses. Of course, looking at their appearances, Lin Rei guessed that these people weren't humans. They were probably the subordinates of Gu Feng's third layer. However, what shocked Lin Rei wasn't these corpses. What shocked Lin Rei was that there were simply too many corpses in front of him. There had to be at least a few thousand corpses. Looking at such a large number of corpses, Lin Rei was both shocked and satisfied. After all, these thousands of corpses represented exchange points and reputation points. Just exchanging for the condensed orbs had cost him 3 million. This was undoubtedly a heavy blow to Lin Rei. AI. What a pity. He looked at the scene in front of him with a look of pity. He was speechless. If these corpses were all good to him, then, thinking about this, Lin Rei couldn't help but laugh. Just then, Lin Rei could imagine himself becoming a millionaire. Look at how cheap you are. I really don't know why I chose you to be my host, the system retorted. Lin Rei was already used to the system acting like this. In response, Lin Rei rolled his eyes and said, "Nonsense. If I didn't have exchange points, would you have given those things to me? If I didn't have reputation points, would you have told me about the condensed orbs?" The system was speechless. It knew that it was in the wrong, so it changed the topic and said, "All right, let's not talk about these things here." Seeing Lin Rei roll his eyes, the system felt quite surprised and pretended not to see as it continued to say, "There's a mountain not too far away, that's the entrance to the realm within a realm." Got it. Zhao Fu nodded with a smile and looked away from the corpses. He circulated his cultivation and rushed towards the destination that the system had told him about. With the system there, Lin Rei only needed to rush and didn't need to pay attention to anything else. With excitement and anticipation, Lin Rei couldn't help but laugh when he thought about how he would be served by the strongest person in the world. He knew that if he could obtain the corpse of a powerful person from Hongmeng, he would be able to break through the Supreme God realm and enter the Holy Realm within 200 or 300 years. Of course, this was under the premise that he could obtain it. If he couldn't, then, there wouldn't be anything he was thinking about now. Alright, don't think too much. If there really is a corpse of a powerful person from Hongmeng, I will find a way to get it for you. After all, if you can obtain it, you will be able to grow even faster, and the little dragon will probably wake up this time, the system analyzed. If the little dragon wakes up this time, that would be great. I haven't seen him for a long time. That guy is always like this, without asking for my permission, Lin Rei didn't continue. He knew that the little dragon did that to save him, but, the more it was like this, the more Lin Rei felt that he owed the little dragon. Yeah. Speaking of the little dragon, the system couldn't help but say, that guy, every time he's bored, he would come and chat with me. It's been so many years, and now that he's not here, I'm really not used to it. At this moment it was fortunate that the system didn't have any expression. Otherwise, Lin Rei could imagine the system's expression at this moment. Rumble, however, the heavens were not on their side. Just as the two of them were lamenting, a rumble was heard and the system was instantly awakened. It immediately said, "Listen, it's here, below." Here. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei lowered his head and looked down. At this moment, there was nothing below, but there was a small pool that didn't fit in. The water in the pool was very clear, so clear that Lin Rei was a little suspicious. "That's right, it's here." The system confirmed. "All right." He didn't refute. After all, the system was the big shot, and he couldn't say anything. Following the system's instructions, Lin Rei descended to the side of the pool, and at this moment, he also slowly withdrew his cultivation. TSK. Not bad, as expected. As expected, it's a naturally formed realm within a realm. It's really extraordinary. The system couldn't help but praise. It's really this? Hearing the system's confirmation, Lin Rei was surprised. He had never heard of a realm within a pool. That's right. Seeing that Lin Rei didn't believe it, the system began to explain like a wise man, this is the entrance to the realm within a realm. As for why it's in this pool, it's hard to say. Perhaps it has something to do with the laws of the dead, or even other things. You just need to remember that the realm within a realm is here. You don't need to know anything else. Stunned, he immediately recovered and didn't ask the same silly question as before. Alright, go down. After entering from here, you'll see the place you want to see. However, all treasure grounds are guarded by monsters, so be prepared to fight at any time. Oh, also, when you're inside, you might encounter all kinds of problems. So, if possible, I hope you can give me the control of the body, so, okay. Without waiting for the system to finish speaking, Lin Rei nodded his head and agreed without hesitation. This was because he knew that the system wouldn't be afraid. As long as it knew this, it would be enough. Moreover, as the old saying goes, don't use people you don't trust. To Lin Rei, the system was like an enlightened teacher, and it trusted him very much. Okay. The system was stunned by Lin Rei's decisiveness. Then, it recovered and didn't say anything else. I'm going down. Seeing that the system was speechless, Lin Rei opened his mouth and asked. In here, he didn't dare to act recklessly like he did outside. Here, danger was everywhere and could take your life at any time. Therefore, Lin Rei was careless. Go down. The system replied. Okay. Hearing this, Lin Rei felt relieved. Then, the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared in his hand. After clenching it tightly, he gritted his teeth and stomped his feet. With a determined look in his eyes, he jumped into the pool. With a splash, the pool of water splashed out, and Linley's figure completely disappeared into the mountains. After entering the water, Lin Rei was like a dragon diving into the sea. His speed was extremely fast, like a swimming dragon. His head was facing down as he dove down. At this moment, Lin Rei's face didn't look relaxed at all. On the contrary, his expression was grim and he was vigilant about everything. It was as if something that could threaten his life would appear at any time and rush out. After all, Lin Rei, who was in the water, was very tired. Moreover, this was the realm within the realm. It was an extremely dangerous place where he could lose his life at any time. If he didn't pay attention to his surroundings, he would have gotten up many times. TSK. As expected, the laws of heaven and earth here are very powerful. Suddenly, the system's words stunned Lin Rei. The laws of heaven and earth? Why don't I feel it? Lin Rei really didn't feel the laws of heaven and earth that the system mentioned. At his level, he could naturally feel the power of the laws. But now, he couldn't feel it at all. He didn't understand. Looking at Lin Rei's puzzlement, the system laughed. I forgot to tell you. The laws of heaven and earth here are the purest. The laws of heaven and earth that you know seem to have been filtered. Only the form is left, but the rhythm is with it. So you can't feel it. Oh. I see. Hearing this, Lin Rei nodded in shock. This was the first time he heard of it. Of course, even though it's only a rough law of heaven and earth, it's still very powerful. Just like Hong Jun, although he merged with the Tao, in the end, he only cultivated the laws of heaven and earth that you can feel. Since the beginning of the untainted land, only one person could feel the complete laws. And because of this reason, heaven and earth couldn't tolerate it. In the end, he was destroyed. At this moment, the system spoke again. Oh. Who was it? Lin Rei was puzzled. He was very curious. Who was so powerful to be able to do this? At the same time, when he heard that he was destroyed by heaven and earth, he couldn't help but sigh and feel sad, Pangu. Only he could feel the complete laws of heaven and earth. Hiss. Hearing this name, Lin Rei couldn't help but feel deep veneration for Pangu. He had always worshipped Pangu. One must know that Pangu was a great god and only he could be called that. Alright, you don't have to be like this. Sooner or later, you'll be able to feel the laws of heaven and earth. Besides, you won't be like Pangu, who is not tolerated by heaven and earth. After all, you've already escaped the surveillance of the Tendo and the Great Tao. The system laughed. Okay, got it. After saying that, Lin Rei remained silent. In response, the system tactfully shut its mouth. Roar, suddenly, a sound that resembled a dragon's roar was heard. At the same time, the originally quiet and warm water suddenly became restless. If it was more appropriate, it would be better to say that the water seemed to have been boiled and began to boil. This happened so quickly that Lin Rei couldn't react in time. His originally diving body suddenly stopped and strangely rose up. F***ck. Being pulled back to reality by this strange sound, Lin Rei couldn't help but curse. At this moment, he was even more vigilant. This sound was like a dragon's roar. Lin Rei could feel that this beast's roar was very powerful, so powerful that it was beyond the range of what he could resist. TSK. What a pity. The realm within the realm is indeed very dangerous. Just one awakening and it already has the strength of a late-stage Tao fruit saint. The system said. What? A late-stage Tao fruit saint? Shocked. Lin Rei was shocked by the system's words. A Tao fruit saint was enough to shock Lin Rei, but now, a late-stage Tao fruit saint appeared. Yes. The system replied, a late-stage Tao fruit saint. But you don't have to be nervous. This is not a real demon beast, but an illusion created by the laws of heaven and earth to guard this place. Unless someone intrudes here, they won't appear. Illusion technique? At this moment, Lin Rei blushed with shame. It was just an illusion technique, but it had the strength of a Tao fruit saint. This made Lin Rei's heart tremble, and he had the urge to die. Sigh. How should I explain it to you? Seeing Lin Rei like this, the system couldn't be bothered to explain. Give me the initiative of your body. I'll help you resist it. The current you is no match for it. Moreover, I'll take this opportunity to let you experience what a truly perfect law of heaven and earth is like. After this, you'll despise the laws of heaven and earth you've learned before. You'll even think that they're trash. Okay. Lin Rei nodded at this suggestion. With a thought, he instantly handed over the sovereignty of his body to the system. Boom! In the instant that Lin Rei relinquished control of his body, a terrifying surge of energy appeared. The boiling water, under the influence of this energy, began to slowly recover to its normal state. Chapter 797. Powerful, vast, boundless. At this moment, Lin Rei could only think of these words to express himself. He really could not think of any other words. Previously, he thought that the system had used all of its power, but compared to this time, it was a far cry. If the last time the system used its power, it was like an ant, then this time, the system used its power like a cat. It was very powerful. Fortunately, Lin Rei's body was strong. Otherwise, he would not be able to withstand such a huge and vast power. He would probably explode and die the moment he received the power of the system. His body and Tao would vanish. F***ck, I didn't expect the system to be so terrifying. It's just a system, but it has such powerful power. How strong is it? At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the state of observation and feeling, felt the power in his body that was not inferior to his own. He began to wonder. Perhaps it was the limit of power, so Lin Rei could not figure out what level the system's power had reached. You brat. The system had taken over the sovereignty of Lin Rei's body, so it was very clear what he was thinking. Of course, even if it did not have sovereignty, as long as he wanted to know, the system would know everything about Lin Rei. Hearing Lin Rei's thoughts, the system smiled helplessly. You brat, don't ask. You need cultivation. As long as you have time, you will definitely answer. Of course, this is only a matter of time. Lin Rei did not object to the system's words. What he lacked the most was not a huge and endless amount of spiritual energy. What he lacked the most was a powerful and peerless cultivation method, and not weapons. What Lin Rei lacked the most was time. As long as he had the original time, everything would not be a problem. Enough. Seeing Lin Rei like this, the system said, "Remember, pay attention to how I fight the enemy. I have to remind you of the past." What? Lin Rei was puzzled. "The way you fought in the past was too boring, too boring." The system teased. After saying this, without waiting for Lin Rei to refute, his body instantly returned to the country bumpkin state. The Chaos Dragon spear in his hand emitted a sharp cold light, as if it was ready to attack at any time. A woo, a dragon's roar was heard again, and the water around them boiled even more. Lin Rei. Well, to be more specific, the system that was in Lin Rei's body could feel that the precepts of the heavens and earth that came from the surrounding edema were naturally mobilized by the roar just now, and began to rush towards Lin Rei. The system couldn't help but look at this scene. The corners of its mouth curled up slightly, revealing a happy smile. It then moved, no longer waiting for its death. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the system space, felt nervous when he sensed the system's intention. It wasn't that he was afraid, but that he was about to see the system make its move. Although he had seen it before, it was just a flash in the pan. He couldn't see it clearly at all. But now, it was real, for a long time. Lin Rei believed that the system would take a lot of time to make its move this time. Secondly, he could openly learn it secretly. Especially when he thought of the system's heaven and earth palm last time, Lin Rei felt that the level of the palm technique was very high. At the very least, it wasn't something that he could learn at his current stage. Even if it was still there, Lin Rei wasn't sure if he could learn it successfully. "It's coming." At this moment, the system suddenly spoke, its eyes fixed on the ground below. It turned left, and spiritual energy instantly filled his body. Then, it began to circulate according to the path of the heaven and earth palm. Come on." After saying this, the first style of the heaven and earth palm, Skybreak, was instantly used. He raised his hand and slammed it down. Boom. Boom boom, a buzzing sound could be heard. Below them, the pool that was originally filled with water, under the system's heaven and earth palm, strange clothes appeared. The water in front of them, under the system's thought, was cut down from the middle. Hiss, in the system, Lin Rei was watching this scene. He couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. His eyes were wide open, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. His mouth was full of thoughts, and he looked like he had yet to recover from his shock. When Lin Rei entered the pool, he felt that the water here was very strange. If he wanted to dive in the water, it would be fine. But if he wanted to use his cultivation to raise the water like the system's heaven and earth palm, Lin Rei knew that he couldn't do it. Then, something strange happened. The moment the water was raised, a divine beast covered in red runes appeared. It was a dragon. A rumbling sound of several feet long rushed towards Lin Rei with its head facing up, carrying a huge killing intent and a terrifying murderous aura. "Be careful." In the system, looking at the rumbling sound, Lin Rei couldn't help but warn. The light of a grain of rice dares to compete with the light of the moon. You're just an ant." In response to Lin Rei's warning, the system didn't care at all. Just like before, it didn't care at all and shouted at him. Then, the heaven and earth palm was used again. A palm print filled with the aura of death appeared and rushed towards the rumbling sound. Its speed was so fast that it left people in the dust. Looking at the rumbling sound of the rumbling sound, Lin Rei was stunned. Just based on the rumbling sound just now, Lin Rei was relieved. Even 10 of him wouldn't be a match for it. As if it had a spirit, it felt the threatening aura. The rumbling sound was angry. It raised its head and a ball of energy rushed out towards the palm print. Bang! A muffled sound was heard. The two attacks cancelled each other out. No one could do anything to the other. Seeing that its attack was cancelled out, the system couldn't help but be surprised. I didn't think that I would underestimate it. It seems that the owner of this place was not simple when he was alive. A whoosh, just as the system was stunned, the red dragon rushed out with a ball of energy. Its speed was so fast that it was in front of the system in the blink of an eye. The system looked at the ball of energy that was almost within reach. Its face was full of mockery and disdain, as if it was looking down on the ball of energy in front of it. However, in the next moment, the system's action made Lin Rei excited. Looking at the ball of energy that was about to collide with itself, the system casually waved its hand. A huge amount of energy appeared and wrapped the ball of energy in an instant. TSK, not bad. Unfortunately, it's still far from being able to match up to me. After praising it, Sailor rushed towards the rumbling sound with the ball of energy. Sensing that the attack contained its own energy, the rumbling sound was stunned. It wanted to resist, but unfortunately, the speed of the system's attack was too fast. Just as the red dragon was about to react, the attack arrived and accurately hit the red dragon's body. Bang, a muffled sound was heard. The red dragon howled in grief. In an instant, its body was completely shattered by the system's attack. It turned into energy and disappeared without a trace. Hiss. Seeing this scene in the system, Lin Rei couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. His face was full of shock. How is it? What do you think of my palm technique? At this moment, feeling Lin Rei's shocked expression, the system said proudly. Yes, it's amazing. It's too amazing. Lin Rei complimented the system without any shame. If you could teach me this palm technique, it would be even more perfect. System, Linley didn't have a chance, nor did he reply. Silently, he charged downwards. The tunnel that had been opened up earlier, now returned to its original state after the red dragon had been destroyed. The system once again embarked on its journey. Lin Rei was speechless. He knew that since the system said that, it didn't want him to learn the heaven and earth palm. However, Lin Rei had already made up his mind to learn the heaven and earth palm. Sooner or later, he would learn this palm technique. Just like that, the system followed Linley and killed all sorts of demonic beasts that were formed from the laws of heaven and earth. However, during this process, Linley almost always mentioned that he wanted to learn the heaven and earth palm. As for the system, under Lin Rei's perseverance, it didn't say anything in the end. Although it didn't teach Lin Rei the heaven and earth palm, it did teach Lin Rei other combat techniques. One of them was called Thousand Illusions. It was an upper-grade holy-level combat technique. The other one was called Colored Glaze. It was a combat technique that was formed by the illusory spirit blood fire. It was also an upper-grade holy-level combat technique. However, when comparing the two, the latter's attack power was stronger. After all, it was formed by the illusory spirit blood fire. In this regard, Lin Rei completely handed over the sovereignty of his body to the system. He was deeply attracted to the two combat techniques and couldn't extricate himself. He closed himself off and began to cultivate the two combat techniques in the system space. Even Linley himself didn't know how long he had been training with the system and daytime. What he did know, however, was that he had only stopped after he had reached the level of novice insight in both techniques. It wasn't that he didn't want to continue cultivating, but the two combat techniques were really too profound. At the current level, Lin Rei was still unable to understand the latter parts of the combat techniques. Lin Rei could only give up on this. But the disappointment and helplessness in his heart made it so that Linley couldn't raise his spirits. He had never imagined that there would come a day when his innate talent would reach a level where he was unable to fully comprehend battle tactics. However, what Lin Rei didn't know was that while he was cultivating the combat techniques, the system was constantly monitoring him. Just as Lin Rei was feeling helpless, the system appeared. "Kid, you've occupied your body for so long. Shouldn't you go out and take a look?" The system's sudden appearance stunned Lin Rei. He hadn't expected the system to appear at this time. Looking at the system, Lin Rei smiled helplessly and said, "Has the matter outside been resolved?" "Yes, it's been resolved." In response to Lin Rei's question, the system nodded with a relaxed expression. "Not only that, in the process of controlling your body, I've already engraved the complete precepts of heaven and earth in the outside world into your body. Of course, these are all very important precepts of heaven and earth. However, you still need to slowly comprehend and study them on your own. After all, this isn't something that can be accomplished overnight." "Okay, got it." In response to the system's words, the sadness and disappointment on Lin Rei's face were replaced by a smile. After all, the news that the system brought was good news. "All right, you can go out now. When you encounter danger, I'll appear." The system looked at Lin Rei. Then, it cut off the connection with Lin Rei's body and returned the body to Lin Rei. In response, Lin Rei nodded and didn't say anything. With a thought, he instantly left the system and returned to his body, taking control of the body that originally belonged to him. However, the moment Lin Rei took control of his body, an inexplicable feeling welled up in his heart. He didn't know what this feeling was and he couldn't grasp it. However, he felt that there were a lot of things around him that he could figure out. Of course, figuring it out didn't mean that he understood it. Lin Rei didn't understand these things, but he felt that this body was more compatible with him and didn't feel as unfamiliar as before. Feeling this strange feeling, Lin Rei was stunned and muttered to himself, "Could this be what the system meant when it said that a part of the essence of the laws of heaven and earth was engraved in my body?" He really didn't understand. In the end, Lin Rei gave up on this idea. Now that he had returned to his body, he wanted to try out the combat techniques that he had been cultivating in the system during this period. He raised his head and looked around. At this moment, he was no longer sinking. Instead, he was above ground. However, what surprised Lin Rei was that the passageway above was so narrow, and this was another world. At this moment, the place he was in was so big that Lin Rei felt that it was unreal. Moreover, what shocked Lin Rei was that there were several different types of spiritual energy here. Lin Rei was very familiar with two of them. One was the spiritual energy that Lin Rei normally cultivated, and the other was the chaotic energy that could only be cultivated in the system space. However, among these two types of spiritual energy, there was also a type of spiritual energy that was like purple gossamer. The energy in this spiritual energy was very powerful. Lin Rei could feel that he couldn't use this spiritual energy. He couldn't even touch it because it gave Lin Rei the feeling that it gave him. It was destructive, cold, and powerful. This is Hongmeng's Qi. This is the Hongmeng's Qi that only existed in the Hongmeng era. It's normal that you haven't seen it before. Moreover, with your current ability, you won't be able to subdue or even refine it. So, don't forget to be careful. This thing isn't something you can touch right now. Just as Lin Li opened his mouth to say those two words, before Lin Li could finish his sentence, the system, who had the foresight, opened its mouth to explain. "Oh, so that's how it is. I was wondering why this thing gave me the feeling of destruction." As he spoke, Lin Li subconsciously retreated backwards, a look of fear appearing on his face. Looking at Lin Rei's reaction, the system laughed. "I didn't expect that you, Lin Rei, would be afraid of this thing." Lin Rei was speechless. He didn't know how to respond to the system's words because he felt that the system was spouting nonsense. How could a mid-stage ultimate god cultivator not be afraid when faced with spiritual energy that was stronger than his? He believed that even if other people were here, they wouldn't be as strong as him. "Let's go. This isn't a place for you to stay. You should hurry up and find the corpse. Looking at the way you walked, there should be something you want here." Feeling awkward, the system quickly changed the topic. Chapter 798. Knowing the current intention of the system, Lin Rei did not expose it. Instead, he said, Sure enough, my luck is still as good as before. Ha ha ha, eh? Seeing Lin Rei being so narcissistic, the system was momentarily stunned. Then, it became silent and did not say anything else. It was not that it did not want to, but Lin Rei had already killed Tian. It did not know how to continue the conversation. Seeing that the system did not say anything, Lin Rei chuckled in his heart. After adapting to the comfort brought by his body, he began to move. With a smile on his face, the disappointment that he felt from not being able to participate in the deeper levels of the battle had completely disappeared. Seeing that the road ahead was long, Lin Rei's lips curled into a smile. Then, holding the primal chaos dragon spear, he began to walk forward. Rumble, in the outside world, in the ancient corpse depository, not far away from the third heaven, at the place where Jianghu and the others were resting, the earth suddenly began to violently tremble. What's going on? At this moment, everyone withdrew from their cultivation. With a shocked expression, they looked at their surroundings. The trembling was too sudden. At this moment, everyone was completely stunned. At this moment, seeing that Jianghu and the others had woken up, Gu Feng immediately got up. He glanced at his surroundings and said, Tisk, perhaps it's because of the realm within a realm. Perhaps something happened to young master in there that caused the realm within a realm to become restless. What? Lin Rei, he. Hearing those words, Jianghu was startled. Then, his face was filled with worry. Not only that, even the Pai Xiu that wanted to follow Lin Rei was worried. At this moment, the Pai Xiu recalled what Lin Rei said about the realm within a realm. At this moment, worry filled his heart. Inexplicably, the Pai Xiu wanted to rush over and protect Lin Rei. However, he did not know where the realm within a realm was. He had only heard about the realm within a realm but had never seen it before. Thus, he did not know where the entrance was. At this moment, the Pai Xiu felt powerless. For the first time, he felt that his strength was too weak. For the first time, he wanted to increase his strength as quickly as possible. Due to the trembling of the earth, the crowd began to worry for Lin Rei. Although they all knew how powerful Lin Rei was, they did not dare to make any guarantees in this place, a place where even the deities of the divine realm were helpless against. Rumble. Once again, the ground began to tremble. This time, the trembling was even more intense. Not far away, the ground began to crack at a speed visible to the naked eye. A woo, the roar of a beast sounded like the roar of a dragon. The sound caused everyone's eardrums to hurt. F***ck, what's going on? Feeling the trembling becoming more and more intense, everyone leaped into the air. When they reached a certain height, they looked down and saw that a heaven-shaking gorge had appeared. The beastly roars that sounded like dragon roars were coming from that gorge. The roar was so loud that it caused the crowd's hearts to tremble. However, what caused the crowd to be even more shocked was not the roar of the beast. Instead, it was the enormous oppressive might that came from the beast's roar that caused their bodies to tremble. Not good, this energy is a Tao fruit saint. How is this possible? How can there be? At this moment, among the crowd, Pai Xiu felt the oppressive might from the beast's roar. Suddenly, his face trembled and was filled with fear. It felt like something bad was about to happen. He was very familiar with this oppressive might. Although he was only a great perfection late-stage hierarch, his original cultivation level was that of a Tao fruit saint. Pai Xiu was very familiar with the oppressive might from the beast's roar. It was also because of this that he was worried. One had to know that none of the people present had reached the saint realm. There were even 2 of them who were still in the late-stage God-Emperor realm. What? A Tao fruit saint. However, the Pai Xiu did not notice that he almost exclaimed out loud just now. Beside him were all cultivators above the God-Emperor realm. How could he not exclaim? Even if it was a God-Monarch realm cultivator, just by the voice of the Pai Xiu just now, they could hear it clearly. At this moment, everyone was stunned. No matter what realm a saint was in, as long as he was a saint, no one present would be a match for him. At this moment, other than hesitation and fear, there was more disbelief on everyone's face. This was especially true for Gu Feng and the other two. They were existences that had lived in the ancient corpse trove for tens of millions of years. They were extremely familiar with this place. However, this sort of thing had never happened before. Furthermore, there had never been a saint-level demonic beast. Wu, then, at the moment when everyone was stunned and in disbelief, a huge red dragon appeared. It rushed out from the heavenly gorge and rushed towards Pai Xiu and the others. The huge dragon emitted a red light. Its gurgling scales flickered with a dazzling red light. It gave people a cold and austere feeling. The huge dragon was more than 300 meters long. It gave people a feeling that it was unparalleled. The appearance of the huge dragon stunned everyone. They had never thought that a Dao Fruit Saint realm demonic beast would appear at this time. At the same time, at this moment, everyone believed Pai Xiu's words. Because in the face of the red dragon, they were like ants without any resistance. It was as if the red dragon could casually crush them to death with one hand. Seeing the red dragon rushing towards him, Pai Xiu's expression changed dramatically. Then, with a panicked expression, he shouted to the people around him, "Run, run! You are not a match for this beast. Run, or it will be too late." Whoosh! As soon as Pai Xiu finished speaking, he heard a few whistling sounds. He turned his head and saw that there was no one beside him. Pai Xiu was stunned. Then, without hesitation, he casually found a direction and circulated his cultivation technique. He pushed his speed to the limit. Like a sharp arrow, he disappeared into the sky. Wu, when the red dragon saw that its prey had disappeared, it suddenly roared. Several more red dragons rushed out of the heavenly gorge and rushed in all directions. At this moment, Lin Rei did not know what happened to Pai Xiu. Similarly, Lin Rei did not know that because the system unintentionally engraved the laws of the realm within the realm on his body, the energy in the realm within the realm was unstable and the energy leaked out. As a result, there was the scene of Pai Xiu just now. If Lin Rei knew that this would happen, even if he was beaten to death, he would not have done this. It should be said that the red dragons here were all at the Dao Fruit Saint realm. With the strength of Pai Xiu, how could he be a match for the red dragons? Humph, beast, I'm going to die. At this time, in the realm within the realm, Lin Rei was bathed in the illusory spirit blood fire. His palm, which had been covered in the illusory spirit blood fire, quickly rushed towards a red dragon. Colored glass, the first move, colored glass flowers. Lin Rei's palm was constantly changing hand shapes in the air, and the illusory spirit blood fire, which was originally bathed in the illusory spirit blood fire, as his palm was constantly changing seals, all gathered in the palm of his hand. At this moment, Lin Rei could feel that as long as this palm hit, even if it was a saint, Lin Rei was confident that he could shatter it. Using the descending dragon step, an azure dragon suddenly appeared. Lin Rei, who was originally fast, once again increased his speed by a large margin. His figure instantly disappeared from where he was, and when he saw Lin Rei again, he was already in front of him. Humph, so what if it's a saint? I will still kill him, not to mention you are just an illusion of the laws of heaven and earth. Looking at the red dragon in front of him, Lin Rei did not give it a chance to react, and rushed towards the red dragon's throat. Wu, a mournful roar came out, as if it felt the power of Lin Rei's bombardment. It was afraid. It wanted to escape, but unfortunately, it was too late. Bang! A muffled sound was heard. Lin Rei's palm directly and accurately, without the slightest deviation, bombarded the red dragon's throat. Wu! A miserable cry came out from the red dragon's mouth, and then a thin line of cracks appeared on the red dragon's body. The cracks, like a spider web, began to spread in all directions, little by little, accumulating. Kacha! Kacha! The sound was transmitted to the space. Oh, sure enough, this fighting method is simply amazing. Hearing the sound, Lin Rei raised his head. When he saw the red dragon's appearance at this moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a happy smile. Gotcha! Boom! With a loud bang, the red dragon, which was full of cracks, suddenly exploded, turning into fragments and dissipating in the air. Whoosh! Suddenly, Lin Rei thought that it was over, but who knew that when he felt that he could relax a little, a flickering red energy suddenly appeared. In the end, it shot into Lin Rei's body at a speed that was imperceptible to the naked eye. The moment he felt something strange and felt that something had entered his body, Lin Rei was stunned, and his face turned ugly. He immediately released his divine sense and began to look inside himself. Although the red energy was huge, he was not sure if this energy would be beneficial to him, so he did not dare to be careless. Where did it go? He checked every part of his body, including his brain, the Dan Palace, and other important parts of his body. However, he couldn't find any part of his body where the red energy was. He couldn't find anything wrong with his body. F***CK, are you playing around? At this moment, Lin Rei could not help but burst out laughing. Heh. Alright, hurry up. That red light is not bad for you. In fact, it might be a good thing for you. Just as Lin Rei was thinking bitterly, the system spoke. The system's words were like a reassuring pill, calming down Lin Rei's doubts and worries. That's good. Nodding his head in response, Lin Li didn't say anything else. He continued on his journey. This time, Lin Li was filled with confidence and drive. With Glazed by his side, how could Lin Li possibly be afraid and stop moving forward? In the following period of time, Lin Rei's fighting spirit was even higher. After the first killing, Lin Rei seemed to have activated his berserk mode. When he saw the red dragon, he greeted it with the first move of the Azure Glaze battle technique. Of course, Lin Rei had only learned the first move of the Azure Glaze battle technique. In the situation where using the first move of the Azure Glaze battle technique to fight the red dragon, Lin Rei felt even more regretful. He regretted that he did not learn the remaining 5 moves of the Azure Glaze battle technique. If he had learned it, he might be even more powerful than he was now. It would be even easier. Of course, although a good battle technique doubled the attacking power, there were pros and cons. Although the battle strength increased, just one move, used up more than half of Lin Rei's spiritual qi. With such a huge consumption, if there were 2 of them, it would be fine. However, if there were 3, 4, or 5 of them, it would not be the current situation. It would be Lin Rei being chased. Azure Glaze Flower, break for me. Suddenly, the first move of the Azure Glaze battle technique appeared again. At this moment, there was a second red dragon in front of him. The profound meaning of the dragon's subduing step was instantly activated, gathering all the illusory spirit blood fire into one. In an instant, he rushed in front of the red dragon and slammed his palm on its head. Gotcha! Just like before, the crimson dragon shattered into pieces, then dissipated into the air. And just like before, a red, thread-like ray of red light suddenly shot into Lin Li's body and disappeared. At this moment it was already the 16th red dragon that Lin Rei had killed. Every red dragon was like the first one. After it was shattered, a red thread-like red light rushed into Lin Rei's body. For this, Lin Rei was already used to it. Phew. I can't take it anymore. Plop, Lin Rei let out a long sigh and fell to the ground with a trace of exhaustion on his face. His whole body was covered in sweat, and his whole body was paralyzed on the ground. His face was very pale, and it was very frightening. At this time, when Lin Rei was paralyzed on the ground, the system spoke. Its voice was full of urgency and anxiety. Boy, get up quickly. Now is not the time for you to rest. You have made such a big movement here, it is very likely that it will attract other phantasmal beasts. Quickly get up and leave this place. Phew, no, I can't get up. I have no strength left in my body. In the face of the system's urging, Lin Rei could only smile helplessly. At this moment, he really had no strength left. If he was fighting a red dragon, perhaps he would be fine now. But just now, he encountered 2 red dragons. The battle between the 2 sides was too long, and at this moment, Lin Rei's spiritual energy was exhausted. How could he get up? Sigh. Looking at Lin Rei, the system sighed slightly and said, "Okay, give me your body." Boom. Suddenly, when the system was about to accept Lin Rei's body, a change occurred. A huge red light instantly rushed out from Lin Rei's heart and finally appeared above the sky. Along with the appearance of the red light, a shocking pressure instantly spread out. Regarding this, Lin Rei, who had no spiritual energy in his body, how could he resist? Plop, the originally limp body, under the crushing pressure, directly fell flat on the ground. Looking up at the sky, he was pressed to the ground. Boom, as a sharp sword, spread out in all directions, intimidate the 9 heavens and 10 earths, soar through the 10,000 worlds, roam the universe. Wang. A desolate sound suddenly rang out. Accompanying the sound was the sound of a sword ringing. The red light in the sky disappeared, leaving behind only an incomparably sharp sword. Without any hesitation, it directly slashed towards Lin Rei from the sky. This sword seemed to be able to cut the world, this sword seemed to be able to cut the sky, this sword seemed to be able to disappear everything in the world. At this moment, looking up at the shocking sword that was slashing towards him, Lin Rei was stunned. Chapter 799. Swoosh. The speed was so fast that Lin Rei, who was suppressed on the ground, was stunned, panicked, and scared. Lin Rei had never seen this sword before. Just from the pressure of this sword, it could be seen that this sword had at least the full strength of a late-stage Dao fruit sage. Seeing the long sword slashing towards him bit by bit, Lin Rei was scared. But strangely, the speed of this sword was originally very fast, but when it was 5 meters away from Lin Rei, it suddenly stopped and began to slow down. The speed was so slow that it seemed to want Lin Rei to see the trajectory of this sword clearly. But at the same time, Lin Li didn't give up on trying to gain insights. Since the longsword was already in such a state, and there was nothing he could do to change its trajectory, then he might as well obediently wait for death. He might as well take advantage of this opportunity to gain some insights into this heaven-shaking sword. Seeing the shocking sword slashing towards him, Lin Rei widened his eyes and fixed them on the long sword. The trajectory of the sword was exposed on the surface, as if it was a kind of inheritance, an inheritance that allowed people to comprehend it. Looking at the long sword, Lin Rei's heart was filled with excitement. At this moment, he did not care about his own situation. At this moment, his mind was completely focused on comprehending this shocking sword. Hurry! Come on, let me see it more clearly. Seeing the speed of the long sword getting slower and slower, Lin Rei began to urge. Faster, faster. Faster, faster. Lin Li was frantic. His thirst for that heaven-shaking sword attack had made him frantic. Ha! This kid. In the system, seeing Lin Rei's eagerness, a smile appeared on its face. However, after he finished speaking, his originally smiling face instantly changed. It became gloomy and cold, and it made others feel as if they were looking at the gaze of the Grim Reaper. Who is it that dared to use such a method to condense this sword with the laws of the world, to make others interested in it, and then use it as bait? What exactly are you planning? When the system saw the first red light enter Lin Rei's body, it knew that this red light was a kind of combat technique condensed by the laws of heaven and earth. Moreover, this combat technique was at least at the level of a middle-grade Dao technique. Therefore, the system did not want Lin Rei to give up such an opportunity. It also knew that this red light was only a small part of this shocking sword. Unless all the red light was collected, not to mention participating, the red light might even affect the system. Sigh. Seeing Lin Rei like this, the system sighed and did not speak anymore. It watched quietly. In the outside world, Lin Rei's face was filled with infatuation. His eyes were filled with desire. He was very eager to comprehend this shocking sword. Boom! A muffled tremor sounded. Lin Rei was stunned by this. However, the next scene made Lin Rei dumbfounded. After a few breaths of time after the muffled tremor, the shocking sword that was originally 5 meters above Lin Rei collapsed. In the end, it turned back into a red light and entered Lin Rei's body. Lin Rei was stunned by this. He did not expect this to happen so suddenly. He did not know anything about this shocking sword, but the shock he felt toward this shocking sword was real. Lin Rei had never seen this kind of combat technique in his life. Even the heaven and earth palm of the system was not at its peak. At the same time, the shocking sword disappeared. The pressure that was suppressing Lin Rei also disappeared at this moment. At this moment, Lin Rei moved. He straightened his body and stared blankly at the sky where the shocking sword appeared. His face was full of disappointment. What's going on? He didn't understand. He didn't understand. He was about to see the path of the heaven shocking sword, but who would have thought that the heaven shocking sword would collapse at this critical moment? It was as if it had been set up in advance to attract people's attention so that they would continue to sink in. Okay, hurry up and go. You should hurry up and find a place to recover your cultivation. I don't want you to die at a time like this. Suddenly, the system spoke. Okay, got it. Lin Rei nodded. He listened to the system's advice. After all, he also knew his current situation. If a red dragon phantom beast randomly came at this moment, he was afraid that he would not even know how he died. After saying that, Lin Rei did not wait for the system. He immediately looked in the direction of the depths of the realm and walked down. As he walked, Lin Rei took out healing elixirs, spiritual recovery elixirs, and various other elixirs that were good for him. Looking at the elixirs in his hand, he did not care about anything else and directly stuffed them into his mouth. Along with the crisp sound of crunching, the elixirs melted in his mouth and entered his stomach. Finally, they turned into a huge amount of energy that filled Lin Rei's body. Originally, he had some minor injuries from the battle. Under the healing effects of the elixirs, he began to recover quickly. At this moment, the pill palace was like a dry well. At this moment, it was as if it was being nourished by spring water. His whole body felt comfortable. Phew. Lin Rei could not help but let out a long breath of turbid air. His face was filled with a comfortable expression. Under the nourishment of various elixirs, his originally pale face began to recover its blood-red color. At this, Lin Rei heaved a sigh of relief. Even if the red dragon came again, there was no need to be afraid. Although his spiritual energy had only recovered by a third, even if he could not kill the red dragon, he would not die at the hands of the red dragon. Oh, not bad. Your cultivation has been depleted by a lot. At this moment, the system suddenly opened its mouth and said such a sentence. At this moment, Lin Rei was stunned. TSK, kid, you saw the swordsmanship just now. I think you must have noticed it. Yes. He sat on the ground and communicated with his mind. Lin Rei did not deny the system's words. Although he was looking forward to obtaining the swordsmanship, he was not a fool. He could already guess a thing or two. Oh, it seems that the owner of this realm is very interesting. He actually wants to use this method to tempt the owner of my system. It seems that we are bound to continue playing. At this moment, the system said. Its words were filled with interest, as if this matter was not a problem for the system at all. However, it was the system's words that made Lin Rei smile. His eyes were filled with approval. I have to say, we are really telepathic. Although I don't know what the owner of this realm wants to do, since he used such a good thing as bait, then I will keep it. Otherwise, I will be at a disadvantage. Moreover, his body is also very weak, let alone this combat technique. It was stunned, but it immediately understood. It knew Lin Rei's temper. It did not find it strange at all when Lin Rei said that. In fact, it would very much agree. Yes. That's good. As it spoke, it looked at Lin Rei and continued, that red glow is the bait for the inheritance. Also, the shocking sword just now was only a reflection. If you want to get the whole thing, you have to collect all of the red glow. That way, you might be able to learn this sword. Got it. Nodding his head, Lin Rei checked his recovery. When he saw that he had recovered 4/5 of his peak state, he moved. Lin Rei did not want to give up on the shocking sword. He even wanted to learn it quickly. After all, this thing was very powerful. If he could learn it, it might be a life-saving measure for him. Moreover, Lin Rei believed that even if he really went to the Holy World, if he could learn the shocking sword, he would be able to survive among the low-level cultivators in the Holy World. Seeing how well he was recovering, Lin Li's lips curled upward slightly, revealing a hint of a smile. Then, he moved. He is moving. As he spoke, he looked at the Chaos Dragon spear in his hand and curled his lips. In an instant, he used his cultivation to activate the Chaos Dragon spear. Suddenly, 9 azure dragons rushed out of the Chaos Dragon spear. A woo, dragon roars could be heard. Looking up at the 9 azure dragons flying in the sky, Lin Rei smiled, go, and get rid of all the illusory beasts here. Although Lin Rei was not sure about the strength of the 9 azure dragons, he could feel that they were not inferior to the red dragon illusory beasts. A woo. Suddenly, a dragon roar was heard, as if it was responding to Lin Rei. Then, it turned around and rushed into the depths. It was so fast that it disappeared in front of him. Looking at the disappearing 9 heavens azure dragon, Lin Rei smiled and walked towards the depths. At this moment, he was like a god of death. As long as he saw the red dragon illusory beasts, he would kill them without hesitation. At this moment, Lin Rei was happy. However, he did not know that because of him, Jianghu, Pai Xiu, Ba Bao and the others were in great pain. Each of them was chasing after a red dragon illusory beast. They were helpless because their cultivation was not high enough and they were not a match for the red dragon illusory beasts. Therefore, they could only run away. What made them even more helpless was that they could not stay together. If they stayed together, the number of red dragon illusory beasts that were chasing after them would increase from 1 to 7. Then, they would be in danger of being annihilated. F***CK, can you do it? I say, you are a Saint Realm cultivator, why do you keep chasing after me, a small Divine Emperor Realm cultivator? Tell me, what is good about me? I will change, okay? What do you want me to do when you are like this? At this moment, Jianghu, who was running away in a sorry state, had a bitter expression. He begged the red dragon illusory beast for forgiveness. At this moment, he no longer had the face and dignity of a Divine Emperor Realm cultivator. Not only him, the others were also facing the same problem. Pai Xiu, Ba Bao, Jade-faced Rakshasa, and the 3 Gu Feng brothers were the same. However, their situation was not as miserable as Jianghu. After all, in this group of people, other than him who was a divine emperor, the others were all hierarch realm cultivators. Seeing the red dragon illusory beast getting closer and closer, Jianghu cried. He never thought that he would be in such a sorry state. He was tired, 4/5 of the spiritual energy in his body had been consumed. However, when he felt the ice-cold killing intent coming from behind him, Jianghu endured his exhaustion and continued to fly. When the spiritual energy in his body was exhausted, he would consume a recovery medicinal pill. Again and again, the scene of a chase and being chased unfolded. However, Lin Rei did not know about the scene in the outside world. At this moment, Lin Rei was in the joy of killing. Martial God strategy. Kill. Facing the illusory beast before him, Lin Rei used the martial God strategy to unleash the little remaining spiritual energy in his body. He held the dragon spear in front of his chest and looked at the illusory beast with an ice-cold gaze. His face was filled with excitement. After killing so many illusory beasts, he could feel that as long as he could kill the illusory beast, he would be able to see the scene of that heaven-shaking sword strike again. Looking at the illusory beast, Lin Rei became excited. He instantly used the martial god strategy. With a tap of his foot, the profound of the dragon's subduing step was instantly activated. Asterisk whoosh, asterisk Lin Rei's figure flashed and disappeared from where he stood. At this moment, following the disappearance of Lin Rei, the originally quiet and peaceful space suddenly began to change. With the red dragon illusory beast as the center, the surrounding space began to compress with the illusory beast as the center. Although it was not very obvious, it could be seen that the illusory beast felt a pressure coming from its life. It wanted to escape, but for some unknown reason, other than its body being able to move, its head seemed to be fixed in the air and it was unable to move. Asterisk roar, asterisk seeing this, the illusory beast began to panic. It began to struggle violently, trying to break free from the restraints of the space. But, asterisk Pucci, asterisk bang, asterisk Lin Rei, who had disappeared, appeared in front of the illusory beast at this moment. The long spear in his hand instantly pierced into the illusory beast's head. At the same time, the moment the chaotic dragon's spear pierced into the illusory beast's head, the originally slowly compressing space suddenly changed. It became faster and tighter, squeezing together in an instant. The illusory dragon's head, which was fixed in the middle of the compressing space, instantly collapsed along with the compressing space. If it had flesh and blood, it would have been a scene of red and white. Asterisk crack. Crack, bang, asterisk the destruction of the illusory dragon's head was accompanied by the destruction of the illusory dragon's body. Suddenly, the illusory dragon turned into fragments of energy and disappeared in the air. At this moment, Lin Rei's body was different from the last time. There was still a little bit of spiritual energy left in his body. Asterisk whoosh, asterisk a red light appeared and rushed into Lin Rei's mind at the fastest speed as usual. However, just as Lin Rei expected, the scene that shocked and excited Lin Rei appeared again. An enormous pressure, a heaven-shaking sword. In that instant, it flashed out and appeared right in front of Linley. This time, Linley could see it clearly. Ha! Come on, let me see what kind of conspiracy you have. You even used such a powerful battle technique as bait. Seeing the heavenly sword arrive 3 meters above his head, Linley was able to clearly see the trajectory of the heavenly sword. However, he could only see a part of it. As for the other part, it seemed to be isolated by some kind of energy. Regarding this, Linley understood. Unless he completely collected all of the red light, otherwise. Thinking at this thought, Lin Rei shook his head. His face revealed a trace of disappointment, worry, and excitement. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.